Risky behavior.
The views and opinions expressed on this channel are solely those of the host and guest and are intended for entertainment and discussion purposes only. This channel does not promote bias, hatred, or discrimination of any kind. All questions posed and thoughts shared are part of a critical thinking exercise and are not meant to offend or judge any individual or group. We encourage respectful dialogue and love for all. Please remember to think critically and engage thoughtfully. We aim to foster a positive and inclusive community where everyone feels welcome. Thank you for being a part of Risky Behavior ENT.
Risky behavior.
Even if, I mean, I don't, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I do this shit by myself, so I'm not. 50-50 sounds really good. As a matter of fact, let me tell you, me and my ex-husband, he was my baby daddy before he was my husband. We would go 50-50 on kids' clothes. We would be standing up in line and he would put his half in, I would put mine. I've never wanted to feel like somebody was doing something for me, and I don't want anybody ever to say that they did XYZ for me, and that's why I'm where I'm at.
And I agree. Like you said, 50-50, 70-30, 80-20, whatever it is, with us putting both 100% into things, um, for one, I feel like it creates a better dynamic. One person doesn't feel like, they have the sole responsibility of everything. Um, it doesn't give that overwhelming feeling. It doesn't give that, oh, I got to work, I got to do this, I got to do that just to make sure ends meet. Um, I feel like it takes off a whole lot of stress on both parties. So,
And I also don't think it's a black women thing. It's other cultures too that don't really agree with 50-50.
I mean,
Sorry.
yeah, but to a certain extent, no, you're fine. Yeah, that is true. Other cultures, you know, don't believe in it as well, but to a certain extent, like, it's mostly black women that we see on these pop the balloon challenges and, this, that, and the third, that's saying, oh, if a man say, oh, I want to go 50-50, or he asks the question of, can you go 50-50, and they pop the balloon. They oh, I need somebody that's going, make sure I'm good, make sure. Just because a man asks you if you can go 50-50 doesn't mean that he's not trying to make sure that you're good. Doesn't mean that he's not handling his responsibilities. But it's a lot of black women that put that narrative out there. Or if a man not doing this XYZ for me or whatever, we ain't got shit to talk about. If a man not doing this, that, and the third for me, like, that's what it is.
I understand their perspective, though. I'm not going to lie. Um, because if you think about it, typically it's never 50-50, right? And even when women say, like, oh, I'm going 100 now, 50-50 would be a better deal. No, you must not be good at math, right? Because at the end of the day, it's just you and you're doing 100%. Add another person to that, that's more electrical use, that's more water use, that's more food that's needed in the house. And men typically eat more than women. That's more gas in the car. That's more, right? So
Mm.
yeah, it's 50-50. But if you normally spent 100 for yourself, but now your bills have damn near tripled, then 50-50, you're now paying 150, dum dum, right? So it's important to realize that, if nothing else. And also, too, that the woman is typically the one carrying the biggest load, regardless of the situation. Like, in most situations, the woman's carrying the biggest load. So is it ever 50-50? No. And to think that you paying half the bills means that now it's 50-50, even split down the middle, it's just not. When you look at the full picture, it's not.
But
I I
see, with
agree.
me, with 50-50, it doesn't necessarily just boils down to finances. It's we both working. You go out and you work your job. I go out and I work my job. When we get home, kids are doing their homework. I help the kids with homework. You help the kids with homework. I cook dinner. You wash the dishes. I put the
See?
laundry in the washer, you dry them. It's 50-50 is split between everything. We both handle household things, we both handle financial things, we both and like I said, it's not always just 50-50. If if I come and I say, baby, I'm gonna be honest with you, my energy today has been drained. I only got about maybe 20% of energy that I can give. I can, we can order some food. I can put the kids to bed or whatever, but I really just want to lay down. And he said, don't worry about it, baby. I got you. Don't even order food. I'll cook dinner. You feel me? It's a partnership.
I agree with you.
50-50 doesn't mean, you know, oh, we go half on the bills and that's just it. It's a partnership, it's working as a team to make however our household dynamic is supposed to work, making that shit work and putting in 100% effort at making that shit work. And if I don't have the 100% today, I got you tomorrow.
You know
But
what? You
have
know
my
what though,
back.
sweet. I agree with you 100%. And good night to everybody on the panel. I just joined in. But I was gonna say, like the way that I did it with my ex, like we lived together, or whatever, and our rent was pretty high for a one bedroom, 2 grand a month, right in California, whatever. And I was
Shit.
talking to I was talking to my cousin, my female cousin who's older than me about it, because we make the same amount of money. So and I was talking to her, and she's like, well, if it was me, I wouldn't respect the man if we're splitting everything 50-50. She said, but obviously if you guys make the same amount of money, here's what I would do if I was you, Phil, right? It's my cousin, so it's family. So she's like, all right, just pay more of the bill, which is the biggest bill, right? The rent, pay more of the rent, and then you delegate certain things, which I did. I was gonna do that anyway, such as like she paid the light bill, she paid the water bill, which is super cheap, and she did the grocery shopping. So I paid, I think out of the $2,000 a month for the rent, I think I paid 1,400. I couldn't pay the whole thing. You feel me? I paid 14 because I still have my car and my own personal things. We weren't married, so we did our cars and shit like that, cell phone separate. But I paid 1,400 on the rent. She put the rest into that, and then she still did the electrical bill. She did the water bill. She did all of the groceries. Just the two of us, no kids. But that, and I told her, I was like, that's still not gonna amount to 1,400, even when you pay the utilities plus the money that you throw in. You feel me? So like that, that's kind of how we did it. And then me knowing the kind of person that I am, we were together for a year. We moved in, so about 2 years we were in. So I said, okay, I went to my job and I direct deposited into we made a joint account. You feel me? And I direct deposited that money just in case, you know what I'm saying, if I decided, oh, I want to buy something more, I go out and I get drunk and I fuck up. I was just trying to eliminate any mistakes. And the whole time we broke up for other reasons that had nothing to do with finances, but for me at least, like I said, I'm not married. That was just a relationship, but that eliminated a lot of things. And it was still 50-50 realistically. But when I didn't have money, if she knew what I liked, I didn't have to ask her. You know what I'm saying? Like she knew, like, oh, it's Friday. You know what I'm saying? Let's go out and have some tacos, or babe, you like to drink Modelo, I'll get you a six pack, or whatever the case may be, because that's really it. You feel me? Other than that, I don't really need much gas, and I got a credit card. But so for me, like it eliminated things. But when dudes are like, oh, 50-50 exact to the penny, like that's ridiculous, because at the end of the day, I think the fear a lot of guys have is that, like, oh, if I spend all my money to take care of us and you're working too, you're just going to be doing whatever you want with it, getting your nails done. But like, that's not realistic if you're in a serious relationship as adults. You feel me? Like you're both putting money together. You know what I'm saying? That's what I would think. But that's how it worked with me. You know what I'm saying? Like if I went out of town and I didn't pay bills, and I'm like, oh, babe, she'll send me $200, 300. She wouldn't even hesitate to do it because we're working together. So that's the way I look at it. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it worked for me. You know what I'm saying? Me paying the larger bill made it seem like I'm doing a little more, but I really wasn't. So that's my two
It's not
cents.
when you do
But
the math, because I just sat there and did the math, and I'm like, y'all's damn near paying 50-50.
Yeah,
But
it's a
to what
psychological
Squeeze was
thing.
saying, yeah, I know. No, it's a psychological trick that men play on women. But to what Sweets was saying, again, even in the example that you gave, that's not 50-50. You can't tell me, oh, I'll cook, you wash the dishes. What? How is that equal? It's not, and I'll explain. What does it take? Seconds to put dishes in the dishwasher? How long does it take to cook? How much effort and shit is put into cooking? A lot. How much effort, brain power, and care and patience is put into loading the dishwasher? Seconds? Like, it's not 50-50. The woman
To
is
rotate
typically the
though,
one
but you
that
could
does
rotate.
way more than 50%.
It
Well,
depends. It depends on your
I
relationship.
can
I'm the one who cooked in my relationship. You feel me? It just depends.
I was
But
talking to Sweets based on
I
her example.
My bad. I can feel your synopsis, but at the same time, I'm in the South, and a lot of times in a lot of Southern homes, we have dishwashers and we don't use them. So it's like, yeah, that's just what it is. So it's like, okay, you know, yeah, I'm cooking, I'm, doing all, adding the seasonings, this, that, and the third, or whatever. But do you know how exhausting it is to have to cook and then after you cook, after everybody eats and this, that, and the third, to make sure that you have to have a clean kitchen before you lay down at the end of the night. And washing dishes isn't just washing the dishes. When you wash the dishes, after you wash the dishes, you have to wipe down the counters and the stove. You have to sweep, you have to, maybe you have to mop if it hasn't been done already or whatever. Because I grew up in a household, you don't go to sleep with a nasty house or a nasty kitchen. Everything got to be cleaned up at the end of the night. So to me it's just a it's the same amount of effort into what I put into cooking. You put into helping me make sure that the house is tidied up, so when we wake up the next morning everything is everywhere and I won't have to worry about it. But
Yes, I get what you're saying. I still don't think that's equal. And I think most chores in most situations are not equal. Anything you run the gamut, laundry, anything is, you do this, I'll do this. No, 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 no. What would be 50-50 would be, hey, and really it can't because there's 7 days in a week. That's an odd number, right? Unless you do, hey, I'll do 2 weeks, you do 2 weeks, 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. For it to be 50, this is my problem with 50-50. If we're gonna nitpick like that, let's just not be together, right? But if we're going to, if it's something the motherfuckers must do, really sit there and analyze the shit that you're splitting, because a lot of things that y'all are splitting 50-50, it's actually not 50-50 and it's not fair.
well, I wouldn't necessarily say nitpick because of course, I'm over exaggerating with the, if I put the clothes in the washer, you put them in the dryer type shit, whatever. I'm more so talking about when it comes down to the aspect of 50-50. People say 50-50 as if you have to split everything down the middle, blah blah blah. Of course that's unrealistic. What I'm saying is 50-50 means a complete partnership. Like I said, sometimes it's going to be 70-30, sometimes it's going to be 80-20 or whatever, but at the end of the day, overall, you guys are working together as a partnership, as a team, and getting shit done.
Um, mm, I was gonna say in respect to what Pretty saying, where, certain things won't really balance out as the 50-50. Because I'm just thinking about how does that relate when it comes to, I feel like the fear that comes is how does that relate when it comes to me being pregnant and now I'm sick and I can't give my 50. What are you gonna do? Because I've seen a situation where the woman's pregnant and the man's still asking her, where's the 50?
that's an unrealistic statement. If the man got you pregnant, let's say you're my wife and you conceive like, babe, I'm pregnant. We're gonna plan for you. You feel me? Like, or for I'm talking in a serious relationship, right? Not an accident where something happens, which that could happen too. But most of the time, if a situation like that happens, for one, I would assume maternity leave you still get paid, right? There's women in my job that get maternity leave and still get paid. You know what I'm saying? And that's for number one. Number two, it's like, you should plan for, okay, we're gonna start a family. Let's put certain things in order. And worst case, I mean, I could be wrong, sweet. I see you got the X on me, but worst case scenario, we just might have to buckle up with the finances. You feel me? Like, what else could you really do? Like you threw a hypothetical situation, but it's like, what, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, I
Yeah.
only put the X up because of the maternity leave things. Not all jobs. Yeah, they let you go on maternity leave, but they will not pay
Well,
you.
the ones at my
Like
job did. I work for a tech company, and I do work
And
with
it's not for
substantial pretty
long.
special.
yeah, and like I said, some
Three,
jobs
four
will,
months.
but most average jobs or whatever, yeah, they let you have that time off or whatever. But getting paid, shit,
Yeah, my coworker
shit.
got paid for 4 months, but she was there for like 5 years, and they fucked with her. But you know what I'm saying? Like,
Okay,
it just
and
depends on the job.
Phil, I gave the example of a woman also being sick. I feel like men don't consider that where just because you see a lot of women pregnant around you, don't think that these things, because when a woman do become pregnant, she has the likelihood to get sick, so that means she's down, she's not going to be the perky self, she's not going to probably be able to stand up for so long and be cooking and cooking and cooking or clean and cleaning. She might not be able to be the mom for the kids. So what are you going to do then? You need the finances, and you can say you can plan, but certain things like that is so much your pocket can handle when your wife is in hospital and you as a single man by yourself now have to deal with everything by yourself and her
I just want
bill.
to say one more thing, and then I'll let every because I feel like I'm talking a little too much. But the thing about it is, right, Jay, realistically, I think if most men, some men have it like that, right? You know, good career professionals or business owners, but I think if most men had money to where they could just do it 100%, they would. I think the whole point of the 50-50 thing is because a lot of people can't do it in our economy just based off the career that they have, just based off of whatever. It's expensive. You know, you heard me guys say I'm paying a mortgage price for a one bedroom because I'm in this is the state that I'm from. You feel me? So I understand what you're saying, but you said something along the lines of, you know, what if your woman gets sick? You know, but my whole thing is like you're working with the finances that you originally have. You feel me? Like if that's not you know what I'm saying? So like what a man can't pull money out of a hat because his wife gets sick. You have to work with what you have. If you have to downgrade, if you have to do certain things to survive, people do it every day. You know what I'm saying? I understand what you're saying. But you
And
know
that's a fair thing.
but my whole thing is if you know everyone's not you feel me like a 50-50 guy who could be a regular guy is somebody who's like, you know what, this is where we live, you know, you have a career too. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have a career and you're working at Walmart, then will be me, you, and the baby in a two-bedroom apartment. You feel me? If us two have a professional careers or trades or whatever, then we might get a starter home. You feel me? We do what we can do within our economic bracket. And if you were to get sick or fall off, now we have to make adjustments to it. Unless you meet a man who's successful and has certain things, then it would be a 50-50 conversation to begin with, and it wouldn't matter if you got sick or not. Does that make sense?
It does make sense, but the conversation is why black women hate the 50 because of scenarios of what I'm
You
giving
answered,
where
you asked me a
the
situation that
likelihood
would be
most
50
time.
50.
Okay, but Phil, so you're saying the ones that have uh can't, in the economy situation that you're saying with your ex, yeah, they don't want children. Those ones, they only want companionship.
Yeah, my ex didn't want kids. And, you know, I know a lot of women who didn't want
You're in the
kids.
matrix.
I'm in a relationship now. This is my ex. This is my ex. I'm talking. This is like a year and a half ago. Me and my current lady now. It's new. I'm not gonna lie, but we don't live together. But the only reason I used my ex was to draw the financial comparison to what Sweet was saying. But anyways, though, Jay, like what I was saying was like I understand what you're saying as far as like what if your woman is pregnant or gets sick and you're expecting 50-50, where's her portion of it? But my thing is like, you know what I mean? Like you're gonna have to make that adjustment. Like, what else is gonna happen? You feel me? Like, if you get sick or if you're pregnant, then I'm like, all right, babe. Well, we gotta move. We're gonna move into a one bedroom with my pregnant wife or my sick wife because we can't afford it without your contribution. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, that's just what it's gonna be. What's the alternative? You feel me?
I hear you, sir, but it's just the fact that because C was giving an example of how a lot of black women say, and it's just that same fear of if I want children with the person that I'm joining hands and hands with, I want to know that if anything happens to me, it's still going to be kept at the same standard. It's the same thing with if anything happened to the man, that because the man has certain finances or certain backings, that we're still going to be able to keep the same standard, even if he's not involved in it every single day, paying his 50 or his 100 or whatever it is. You know what I mean? So that's the fair. Nobody wants to be struggling just because they've added additional person to their life. Nobody wants to be doing that.
If you're look, last thing I'm gonna say, because I don't want to overtake this, but if you're doing like Sweet said, everything's not 50-50 just with finances, right? But if you're doing 50-50 with finances and somebody, male or female, in the relationship gets sick, you're gonna be in trouble. You know what I'm saying? Because you're depending on that money. Like let's say you make, if you make $3,000 a month, I make $3,000 a month, right? And we get a $4,000 place to live. If I get sick, we're not going to be able to afford it just off the bat. You feel me? Maybe a little disability might help, whatever the case is, but you can't do that. So that's why, people should live within their means. You know, hopefully most people do. But in a situation like that, it would be ideal if you live modestly, to where, if the man could cover the rent, you know what I'm saying, the woman contributes as well. And if someone was to put money to the side, savings, you know 70 30, whatever the case is, it's just difficult. It just depends on your finances. And I don't know, I really don't know the answer to that, because if a man's by himself and he's in a one bedroom or a studio and he gets sick or whatever, maybe he could cover himself. If he has a wife and kids and more expenses, and you're in a three bedroom and he gets sick, then you guys are in trouble. You feel me? So I just don't even know the answer to that, to be honest.
But if people are that fucked up financially and they're getting in those types of situations for that purpose, are they really getting into those relationships because they have abandonment issues? And they know that most likely, if we go 50-50 and you hardly have any money left to yourself because we're both financially illiterate, I know most likely you're not going to leave me because you can't. Is that what that shit is about? Because even in your case, right? You said you guys had a $2,000 apartment and you couldn't afford to pay that shit on your own,
I could
right?
afford to pay it, but the thing is,
I thought you said you couldn't.
I chose not. I should have said I chose not to. The reason I chose not to is because I had other things I had going on. I could have done it, but the fact is, you feel me? Like I just didn't want to do that, because I would have been skim broke, to where I didn't want to have to ask, even though we're together. And I know, and whatever. I just didn't want to have to be that kind of dude who's like, "Oh, babe, can I?" You know what I mean? I didn't paid all these bills. Can I get?
So it's
I
not
didn't have
fair to
enough.
say,
I didn't have
I,
enough money. I'll be honest. Go ahead.
I got you. So is it not fair to say that that was the perfect scenario to create in order to cause your partner to think twice before leaving you because they actually couldn't afford to leave you at that point?
You're right. You're right. You're right in a sense. Like I said, our relationship didn't break up over money. That had nothing to do with it. But you're right. You know what I'm saying? We still talk here and there, and she's struggling her goddamn self. You feel me? She's a social worker, or whatever, moved out of state, but it's just, yeah, it was just kind of, the reason we moved into that place was because we were together. She had a smaller place and we were together for a while, and I was renting a room, and I was like, you know what? Let's just get a place. Your lease is up. Let's get a place together. And because we were combining, we're together and we're combining incomes, we got that place. You feel me? But if either one of us would have left, it would have threw the other into a problem. You know what I'm saying? So to a degree, you're right. We were stuck in that situation. But we broke up right when the lease was up, like a month before the lease was up, and I just moved out, so it kind of worked out. If that answers your question.
It sound like it worked out for you.
I mean, it worked out for us. Like, what I'm saying, it just wasn't working. I don't want to get into the nitty gritty of it. It's not a big deal, but you know what I'm saying? It just didn't work out, and we moved on. So
So I'm happy you're starting to see the problem, because most likely when people join it together, somebody's going to be down at one point. You guys are a situation where it's like nobody is going to, m- more likely, possibly not going to be down bad, because unless there's potential some sickness. But it seemed like you were both healthy in your own self. But most time people want to have children, so doing 50-50, or even if it's 70-30, if my 30 goes away, I need to know that my man can cover 100, and I have no headache to hit my head and say, if I don't cover 30, 10, whatever it is, if we're gonna be changing percentage, that we're still gonna be good as a female. Maybe the man it don't matter, but as a female is necessary. And yes, we don't make it a finances thing or money thing, but
Mm.
it is important. It is important for everyday life to flow and for you to be comfortable in life.
Hey, that's a
You need the
beautiful
money.
sentiment. But so let's get back to what the brother was saying. Phil, Kelly, Phil, correct me if I'm wrong. You saying the girl had her own place, you had your own place, you was renting a room, and then y'all took on a place that was more expensive together, but then you couldn't cover your half.
No, no, no.
Like
I covered my
what?
half.
No,
I didn't say I couldn't cover
what
my half.
would be the logic of her taking on a place that's more expensive with a man who can't afford that?
I never said. I don't know if you came in late. I never said I couldn't. I explained the whole story to where I
No,
was
what you
paying
said
most of the
was
rent.
you was renting a room and she had her own place, and then you was like, let's get our own place together.
Right.
So y'all got your own place together, but then you also said that you couldn't afford it. Am I wrong?
What I was simply saying
No,
was, right.
but am I wrong? Did I make that up?
I couldn't afford that place by myself. Is what I said. I didn't
Right,
say
but
that we couldn't
with
afford
two
it.
of y'all together, you could afford it.
Yeah, that's why we got the place.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it
So
was more expensive than you renting a room.
yes, it was, and it was
So
also
then
more.
when y'all
It was
broke
also
up,
more expensive than her apartment she
when
had.
y'all broke up, excuse me, sir. When y'all broke up, was it due to finance? Like, was it due to the fact
Nothing
that?
to do with. It had nothing to do with money. It was just a personal. It had to do with different paths in life that we wanted to choose.
But it was right on time with the lease going up.
About a month or two before, and it wasn't purposeful. You know what I'm saying? It was a relationship, so it wasn't like it was a planned thing to my rent and to spend money with this random woman for a year. No, that wasn't the case. But it had nothing to do with finances. It had to do with personal. Just move, realize it's not the right person
Okay,
for me
now
to deal with.
that's a great point. So you move in with somebody, y'all feel connected enough to move in
We
together.
dated for a year before we moved in, but yeah,
You dated for a year, then when you get a lease together, shit falls apart right before the lease goes up. You don't think that's weird?
Coincidence.
no. My point I'm making is right. Me being
No, I'm
after
not
the
asking
person was
about
in a
the point
relationship,
that you're
it wasn't.
making. I'm asking you a very
But you just
direct
said, do I not
question.
think it's
I'm
weird?
not asking about the point
It's
that
not
you're
weird. I'm
making.
telling because I lived it. I'm telling you, like it had nothing to do with our lease. It had nothing to do with money. It had to do with just certain things between me and her, which I'm not gonna get into. You
So
feel
Phil,
me?
why
do you
would
think
you?
you're
Why?
gonna
I
go
was
But
D
wait,
and
making a
but
say,
point
hold on,
about
"Oh,
hold on, hold on, hold
50-50,
on, hold on.
but you're
Before we get too out of pocket, why would you move in with a person and dedicate financial
so
expectation
why have a
to a
relationship?
person that you've been
Do you have
dating for a
kids?
year, according to you,
Do you have
dating for a
kids or do
year?
you have a husband, a boyfriend? I'm curious.
I have 8 children and I've had 2 husbands.
So why even bother with husbands and kids? You're asking me a silly question. Why would I
No, it's
get
not a
with a
silly
woman if
question,
I'm in a
sweetheart.
relationship?
I'm trying to figure out, how did you know that it was okay to move in with the person, but when you moved in with the person less, maybe a year, you said a month or 2 months
We
before the lease
moved
was
in in
up.
January. We moved in
Right. I'm
January.
not asking for no dates. I'm just saying, why make that decision to move in with that person if you didn't even know that it was gonna be cool? Like y'all broke up into the
You're making
lease.
it, but you're making it seem like I met somebody in September and I moved in
I'm not making it
November.
seem like
You
nothing.
feel
You
me?
said
Like
y'all had been dating for a year.
all right. So why ask me a
Then
question
y'all
like why
chose
would
to
I
move
think
in
it's cool?
together. Then the shit went south. But what
Because it's
about
life.
you? What about you renting your room and her having her own place? What about that was like, oh, let's cohabitate together? That's what I'm trying to figure out, really.
Because I was a 35-year-old man and she's 32 and I wanted my own space with the woman that I'm dating. Is that an odd thing
No,
to
it's not
fathom?
odd. It's only odd when it comes to saying, oop, it didn't work out. So now she's giving up her space that she had. You are no longer renting a room. So it's basically like a big inconvenience,
It
just so you
wasn't an
can get
inconvenience.
just so you can get out of that little
It
room you
wasn't
was
it
renting.
wasn't it wasn't an
She
inconvenience
had her own place, but you was
because
renting a
here,
room.
here's the thing. I was spending most weekends and nights at her place anyway. And when her lease was up, her place was so small. When her lease was up, You feel me? It was cheaper, obviously, but when her
It
lease
was
was
too
up,
small
we
for
both.
you.
No, no, you're right. You're true. It was too small for two people. Fair enough. She was comfortable there. But I'm not. I'm not the one who initiated it. Like it was a scheme. Like, oh, let's get a place together so I can get out of my room.
She
I was
wanted to
comfortable
live
too.
with
She
you.
she came over with me too. The thing is, the lease was in my name. I'm the one who got the guy. It was in the same complex she was in. I said, listen, man, since your lease is up, should we just get a place together? We had a conversation. We got a place together. You know what I'm saying? It was, and it, the relationships sometimes don't work out. But when you ask a question like, what would make you guys want to move into, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not 19, I'm in my 30s. Of course, I'm gonna want to, if I'm in a long term relationship with the lady that I'm dating, it makes sense. Some people get married, some people don't, but it makes sense. You feel me? Like, you making it seem
But do you live in New
like
York?
this was a
Let me
master.
ask you
I live
this.
in California. I live in California.
Okay. Because
And like,
in the South, that wouldn't make sense. You have your own place. She have her own place. Like, what are we doing? Y'all playing house, and
no,
then she's paying more. You're paying more, but you can't afford to pay
no,
more.
nobody's paying house.
You
But
literally just said you couldn't afford to pay more.
listen, you
So,
don't live in Northern California though. You heard what I said. It's 2000 is 18 to 2000 is standard. You feel me? And everyone's not a software engineer to where you making
babes,
$145,000 a
listen.
year.
You don't have to tell me where I live at. I know where I live at.
All right, all right. So it might be a
But neither
different
here nor there. I'm
situation.
not asking about where you live at. I'm asking about the decision.
You just asked me if I live in New York. But
I'm
okay,
asking about the decision that was made.
between two adults, yeah, me and her made the decision together.
And so how did this situation end? What
I'm not
happened?
getting into it. It doesn't matter.
You
That's
don't want to get
irrelevant.
into that. Yeah,
That's
you don't want to
No,
get
irrelevant.
into
did
It's
that.
you
irrelevant. It has nothing to do with the
did
fifty
you
fifty we're talking
realize you
about. I
couldn't
used an
afford
example.
that? You couldn't
Has
afford that?
It
Like
has nothing to
you
do
was
with
not
the
in
example
love?
that me
No,
and
it's
Jay and
very much
Pretty was talking
relevant
about.
to what you're saying.
No, no, it doesn't. It's not. It's not.
No, it doesn't.
It's a cool room. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I fuck with y'all, but it's not my personal. I know you cap it. My personal shit has nothing to do with, you know what I'm saying, with what we're
I
talking
popped
about.
in, you was chatting about your personal shit. My bad.
No, no, no. We were just picking off because we were trying to give the example of he gave the 50-50 example saying that he has experienced it himself. So we were bouncing with him saying how because of your scenario that you gave is why black women normally have an issue with the 50-50.
Right, because
So
he said let's go upgrade, and then she upgraded, left her little comfort zone, upgraded with him. Now she got to start over. So after that little year lease they had, that little bullshit they had, she had to start over. But he went right back to renting his room. Where do you live at now? Do you lease a place that's 2 bands a month,
No, I don't.
or you back renting a
I
room?
don't. That's why I said neither of us could afford the place that
Who
we're
you live with
on our
now is
own.
what I'm asking. You live
I have
with
my
your
own place,
people.
but it's not as expensive.
It's a cheap place,
Yeah.
so it's 1 band.
It doesn't matter what my rent is. The point is she moved
I'm
out of
just
state
asking if
because
you
it's cheaper.
split rent of 2 bands, and then she left her place where she was paying probably 13, 1400.
She's paying 1650,
Right.
and
And
we
then
upped
she
it to
moved in
2000.
with you to split it 1 band. She thinking right. And you coming up, cause you really came up out that situation. Cause
Not
you was renting a
necessarily.
room.
Not
How much
necessarily.
was
I
the
didn't
room you was
necessarily.
renting? No,
I didn't.
no, no. Let's be real. Let's have a
I
conversation.
didn't listen to me.
I
Listen to
don't
me.
know you. I'm not your mama or
I know.
your
I know
dad
you
or
don't
your
know. I don't know
parents.
you. I don't know
I
you either.
don't give a fuck about it, but I just want to know the truth. How much was you paying in rent before
Listen.
y'all moved in together?
Listen to what you talking over. Listen to what I'm saying. I didn't
Can you
necessarily
just
come up.
answer that simple question?
I didn't necessarily come up because I was paying the majority of the rent as I initially said. You feel me? Like I could have possibly paid the whole rent myself, but
Could have
because of my other
possibly.
bills, I could have paid the whole rent to be honest. But because of my other bills and shit, and I have a whole nother person who makes the same amount of money as me, it just made sense for us as a couple together. If I would have
That's
been me
DJ,
by
we
myself,
went over
I would have
this.
been. I could have
that
got the
shit
apartment
sounds like
myself.
a lie,
Listen,
bro.
yeah, listen,
I'm
DJ.
not
This
lying.
is what he
All
said.
right, whatever,
And
man.
somehow he was able to convince this woman that this wasn't 50-50. But he said, I'll pay a majority of the, what did he say? Of the rent. So he said he was paying 1400, she was paying the other six. Keep doing the math with me now, DJ. Then he
and the
said the
lie.
two little bills, yes, that she would then be paying plus groceries. So you got $600 is two people. Let's say bare minimum she's spending what, 200 a week on groceries? Let's say 100 a week. That's 400. That's 1,000 right there. Then you got the other little bit. That's literally more than 50-50. But he somehow convinced her that it wasn't the same.
Same thing, man. What you thinking?
But also when it's time for the lease to renew, and he realized, oop, I can't do this. He was like, no. So now she have to go revamp her whole shit.
You're making a
She have to go
you're making
revamp her whole
assumptions.
finance
I
and
talked to her
everything.
like 2 days ago. She's perfectly fine. Like you guys are making assumptions like a motherfucker.
No,
It's
I
all
bet
good.
she is perfectly fine because she was perfectly fine before you came around. But what was the motive of that? If you didn't think you was gonna marry her, if you didn't think you was gonna be long term with her,
How do you know I didn't think that?
what,
That's an assumption.
so
That's an
explain to me
assumption.
what
Nah, I
happened.
don't need to explain nothing to you. You're not my
You
counselor.
don't
You're not
want to
my
get into
therapist.
it,
What happened? No,
You know, it doesn't
this is
matter.
not.
It doesn't matter.
I'm not your counselor.
We could talk. We could talk about the
But
scenario.
this
You don't
is
need to know
very
the intricacies.
interesting. It is a very interesting story that you're telling, and I'm just curious. If you don't want to share, I
I don't want to
respect
share.
that.
Yeah,
But
I want to share.
if you don't share, also that leads me to nothing but assumptions.
That's fine.
You
That's
couldn't
completely
afford that
fine.
lifestyle. You couldn't even afford that 1,400,
That's fine.
and she might have hit a hard time,
That's
and
fine.
she couldn't afford a light bill one time. You was like, "Bitch, I can't even afford the 1,400,
That's fine.
much less a light
Listen.
bill or
I,
a grocery
I,
week."
I, I've been in New Orleans. We live in
That's what it sound
two
like to
different
me.
environments to where
Like
economically you
it
couldn't
sound
afford
but
it
like
either.
still, you
poverty.
So you
agreed.
got to
When I
cut it
brought up
out.
that point, you agreed and said that yes, if she didn't pay her part, you would have been stuck. You would have been flat broke, and that's the point that I was bringing up. And then Wasako also justified it too to say yes, it would be a problem, and you agreed.
Yeah, but my whole point is this doesn't have to be an inquisition. I don't like the way that DJs, you know what I mean, trying to
Okay,
grill
I
me like
get
that.
what
Like
A.
we're having
Yeah,
a
yeah. A
regular
is coming off a
conversation.
bit
No,
tough.
you
Yeah, yeah.
don't
I
like it.
understand.
You don't
So A
like
is
it.
A
coming
You
a
regular
bit
don't like
tough,
what
conversation.
you
but
really saying and how somebody analyze it.
You
You don't like that.
but you're
But
completely
you sound
that's
like
like me.
poverty, and you
That's like
sound
me
like dumb.
analyze
Like
that's like
you
me
fucked that girl
analyzing
life up.
that's like me analyzing your two ex-husbands
You
and your
fucked that
kids.
girl
I don't know
life
nothing
up.
about you. You don't know nothing about her or me.
I
You
know
feel
what you
me?
just said.
I was nice enough to share my story just jumping in
You
the
wasn't
room.
nice enough. Nobody asked you to share that story
Nigga,
like that.
no, no, no.
nigga, the
It's
title of
it's
the
okay.
room
Wanted
says
some
that.
kudos for that.
The title
But
of the
this
room
shit
says
sounds
that.
dumb to
All right,
me. The
let's move
math
on.
ain't
Let's
math.
move on. Let's not make it be a personal thing to him because he might feel a bit slightly attacked
I
and
don't
make
feel
a
the type of
mistake.
way.
He
I don't
might
feel a
feel.
type of
I
way.
love y'all
I'm a
British
grown ass
people.
man. I don't feel a type of
I
way.
Nah,
love
It's
y'all.
just
because
Y'all
that.
so sweet with y'all little beans and
no,
toast. Y'all
you know
so
the reason.
soft,
You know the
so
reason why I'm
scrumptious.
letting it up. You know the reason why I'm letting it up is because
You
we
understand
kind
what
of,
I'm saying?
yeah, I do. Don't worry, I did, and he agreed too. But it's now is I think because we're gonna back and forth, it's becoming a thing of if he got to explain himself, it kind of could get messy. So
No,
let's
you
let
know
it
what
go.
it
Do you get what I
is?
mean?
You
Let's
know
just
what
let
it
it go.
is? And let me use my nice, beautiful, soft voice. When he explained himself, he hear what he's saying, and he realized the error in his ways. But I respect that, and I'm gonna take my foot off the gas. Shout out to the room. Shout out Diabolical. Big shout out to Pretty Kelly. Rajay, I know I'm saying it wrong. Is it Rajay?
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Yes.
Rajay. I
DJ,
love
you
you.
ain't going 50-50.
50-50.
Go DJ.
You
I'm
never
gonna tell
did.
you what, but I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna tell you what about 50-50. I'm gonna be real with you. My take on 50-50 is if we doing 50-50, do 100. Keep that shit over there. Don't
I
come to
agree.
me doing some like you think you doing me a favor. And that's why I think this young brother's story bothered me because this girl probably was doing her thing and thinking, oh, I'm gonna do 50-50 with him. It's gonna be easier for me, and wound up getting her shit fucked up. And I think
You
that's
got
a
the whole
big
story
story.
fucked up.
I'm still speaking, not speaking to
You
you.
speaking on me. You got the story fucked up.
You told your
It's
story.
opinion. It's
The fuck.
opinion, yo. Don't
Once
take
you
it
tell
personal.
your story is now canon in my T cycle.
But neither here nor there. This is
They
canon
said a
now.
T cycle.
This is canon. It's going into the gospel of my T stories. A man will literally want you to go 50-50, but can't really do it. And if you come up short on anything, he'll be like, oop, it's your fault. Everything your whole life upended. Why would you do that? As a woman, that's dumb. If you're doing 100, do that shit at your shit. Let him do his shit at his shit. You're not getting married. This man said, I didn't know if I was. Why would you move in with somebody, make them leave their place when you're getting a better place? Where did he say he lived at? Renting a room. You're poverty. You're poor. You're basically homeless if you're
You
renting a
don't know
room.
me. You don't know
You're
me.
basically homeless if you're
You don't
renting
know
a
me.
fucking room.
You don't know me.
Real, let's be fucking so for real right now. If
People
I
rent
told
rooms here
you
all the
I'm
time.
renting a room right now, you'll be like, this bitch is homeless.
If you went to New
She
York
lived
City
with
or
somebody
LA
in a room
or San
in a
Francisco
house.
Bay Area and you rent a
This
room,
bitch can't even get her own fucking house.
okay.
Okay. But now you find a bitch that got her own place and you like, you know what? I can afford it. Let me go 50-50 with you. Cause you can't do that shit by
Your
yourself.
assumptions are off.
You're
Assumptions are off.
That's fine. So don't be triggered then.
Nah, you triggered though. I'm just
Don't
saying,
be
like, I'm
triggered.
just trying to correct you about my
If
own
it's
life.
off,
Like
let it be
you
off.
off. You off, man. You
You're
off.
The story sounds like a homeless bum renting a room from somebody, meets a nice girl, she's desperate, she wants to do the 50-50 thing, but come to
I see
find
what
out,
happened.
she's doing 80-20 with a nigga
Feel
that's
like something like that must have happened to you.
boosted
That's why
his
you taking
life
it so
up
personal.
from renting a room. You don't have to share your bathroom with another nigga no more. Like that's what it sounds
I
like to
think
me.
that happened to you, man, because you taking it so personal to where it's
It
like
never
it
happened
was
to me,
nothing
but I'm just
cynical.
saying how it
It was
sounds.
nothing cynical. Like, yeah, I'm renting a room. You feel like I
You're
said,
renting a room. You're
we
homeless.
made the same amount
You're
of money.
homeless,
We made the same amount of money. So
but you're homeless.
I could have got the same
You're
apartment
making
like
the
your
same
dad.
amount of money as her, but you are homeless because why are you renting a room? Why don't you have your own
Because it's
place?
cheaper. Because it's
As
just
a
cheap. Just for
35-year-old
economics.
man.
Just do.
Side note, let's go back in your story.
You don't live in
You
a high
said
cost of
I'm
living area.
35.
You don't live in a high cost living area. Let's be honest. I know people in their 40s renting rooms right now in San Francisco who are software engineers. You feel me? Making $120,000 a year. It depends where you live. You
That's
feel me? Some
cool.
people are from
That's
New York.
cool.
I know people in New York
That's
renting
cool,
rooms
but
right now
that's cool.
who
I'm
are
not even
professionals
judging.
working.
Not
You feel
even
me?
judging.
Am I wrong though to the panel?
But
Like
why
people
would
people
you
do that.
make that girl move out of her place that
Make her
she
move out
has
of nowhere. We were in a
to
relationship.
live
Her
with
lease
you?
was up. Her lease was up. We were in a relationship, and we
Okay.
said, "Hey,
And then
listen,
you
should we
decided
get a
after
place
a
together?"
year of living an upscale life, now you're no longer renting a room. Now you said it wasn't
The
gonna work.
reason that our relationship ended, I said, is none of your business. Whether she did it or I did it, it's none of your business. You can come to whatever assumption that you want. You
I
feel
know
me?
she
But
was cheating on you because you was
she was
poverty.
not
You was
cheating on
not
me. She was not cheating
willing to
on me.
pay for that shit.
She was not cheating on me.
You was
And I'm not
poverty.
poverty.
You were
I'm
homeless.
not poverty. How was I homeless when we made the same amount of money? You silly as hell.
Let's move on, Phil, because some of what you're saying is when she wasn't when A wasn't here and putting your back against the wall, you were hearing what we were saying, and some of what she's saying, you were saying. So let's move on, please. Let's move on. Talk about
I'm
another
trying
topic,
to,
another
but she brought
So
the
example.
where
opposite
did y'all
example.
move, Phil?
What you say?
When her lease is up? Did y'all move into a room? I'm
No,
lost.
no, no. So
Apartment.
what happened was when I was dating my girl, right? She had a one bedroom, right, in out here in California, in the Bay Area, and I was renting a room. You feel me? And not just for random people. I'm renting a room from like a close friend of mine, who has a 4 bedroom house. I just said, hey, it'd be cheaper. I'm helping you out. I'm saving money. Whoop de whoop. So we had started dating. We dated for a year, and I realized, like, you know what? Once her lease was up, like I mentioned, her lease was up in January. It was like, hey, should we probably think about getting a place together? Just a casual conversation that people in relationships have. And then, she agreed, like, yeah, let's get a place together. We got a place together. And obviously, relationship didn't work. But, DJ was trying to make it seem like, oh, I schemed and you know what I'm saying? And then by the time the lease was about to be up, I left her in shambles. You know what I'm saying? But like, relationships just don't work. I don't want to get into it, but they just don't work. People are married for 40 years and they get divorced. You know what I'm saying? We were just dating. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't nothing. It wasn't even all that. You know what I'm saying? It was just a simple situation of like, you live with your partner and things happen. That's why
Phil,
I
you
asked
know
you,
what the problem is, my brother?
what's the problem?
Black men is the only people that's thinking about forever, man.
Yeah, you might be on to something.
That's it. No, I'm telling you. Like, when black men get married, they think that this is their last stop. Like, this is just how it is. Like, we think like that. Like, divorce is expensive. I ain't even talking about money. I'm talking about emotionally, like, that shit is expensive. You got to rebuild your relationship
Bro,
with your
you just
children.
popped in the room. Shout out to you, Cap. But check this out. This man was renting a room and decided, him and his girl decided he wanted to move in together. Then he said he couldn't afford it. And he broke up with her 2 months before the lease was up. So where is the forever in that?
That's an anomaly.
That's what he just told us.
Not cap. So that's not the
No, that's
accurate
what you just
story.
told
That's
us.
not
You
the
just
accurate story.
explained that story to us.
The accurate story. Hold on, let me just explain to this dude real
No, you
quick.
never
30
told us
second
why y'all
recap.
broke up, but you just said y'all broke up 2 months before the lease was up.
So how do you know she didn't break up with me? You making
I don't
assumptions.
know, but all I know
All
is
right.
that
You said
What
this
you
does
man
it
was
broke
renting
up.
a
matter?
room. You
Phil,
was
what does
renting
that
a
matter? Who broke up with who?
Exactly.
You broke up with 2 months before the lease broke ended. Or one
what?
month, whatever it was.
You didn't want to do no another lease, so you never had no intention on
You
marrying
don't you
her.
don't know that. You don't know
You
that.
never
You don't
had
know
no
that.
intention on marrying
Hold
her.
up.
You
So
never had no
DJ,
intention on forever. So Cap, don't come in here.
so they broke up because the lease was about to be up.
No, they broke up because
No,
he couldn't afford
no,
his half of the rent.
no. That's not true either.
No.
That's not
He's
true either.
lying to
She
you, Cap.
Hey, just
that's
because
not
you
true
don't
either.
believe the bad,
Hey,
don't
yo,
add to the
Phil,
bad
do
story.
I
you
Don't
are
told
add
you
y'all
to
at
we
the
had
peace
bad
no
with your
story.
financial
decision,
issues.
Phil? Are you at peace with your decision?
Of course, nigga, it's done. Like, listen, me and her still talk. Like I was telling DJ, like me and my ex talked like 2 3 days ago. Like we're good. She's in Vegas now. She moved out of
Are
Cali.
y'all still swapping fluids?
Nah, Nick, she moved out of state. I have a new girl.
Okay, 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 okay.
The point I'm trying to make is right. Let me just 30 seconds because this shit don't gotta be that complicated. So I was renting a room. Right, I met my girl. She was living in Livermore, right, which is basically the Bay Area in California. She had a 1 bedroom apartment. We were dating for like a year. I was going back and forth. She was spending nights with me, right? And I'm renting a room now, not with strangers, with like one of my close friends, like a best friend type dude I've known for 10 years. Him and his family bought a 4 bedroom house. His kids is grown, so they had extra room. So for me, it made sense to rent a room, right? So the whole point is, when her lease was up, we dated for about a year. When her lease was up, I said, babe, you know what I mean? Let's look into get a place together. It wasn't out of desperation. It was just out
Now,
of
which
us being
one
a
is it?
couple.
Because at first you said it was her idea. Now you saying it was your idea.
It's both our ideas. Her lease was up. We're talking. We're a couple. Come on, like I feel like I'm on a stand here or something. Got me sweating and shit. Glass of water.
And so that's what
Anyways.
I was saying, let
Hold
it
on,
go,
DJ.
because A was putting your back against the wall. That's what I was telling you. And acknowledging that's what the situation is, why you feel like
Man, I fuck
sometimes
with.
when people
You know
are
what?
defending themselves, they're not admitting to what the truth is.
Listen,
What some of what A is saying, you're saying nah, but technically, when we were just generally just having a conversation, you admit to it, saying if you did all of the rent and did 100, right, you'd have been
listen, man.
struggling. You
I
probably
fucks
couldn't
with DJ.
save, right?
Jay, give me 1 second. I fuck with DJ. It's just the line of questioning. You see, good thing I ain't a street nigga, man. I'd have been caught up. But
What
anyways,
you say,
nah, I fuck
Carter?
with DJ, man. But yeah. Anyways, man, let's get off of me, man.
Yeah,
I'm
let's
about to
talk
go
about
inside
something
real
else.
quick
I've
and
been saying
grab
let's talk
something to
about
drink.
something else because
Yeah.
if
Let
it
me
just
let
made
me
up,
let me let me
let
tap
me
in.
stall
Let me
me out
tap
for a
in with
minute
the
though.
title. Let me tap in with the title. Shout out to everybody in the room. First and foremost, shout out to Shmelly. Shout out to Kelly, Raji. I think I did this already, but I'm gonna do it again. Shout out to Jessica. Shout out to myself, DJ. Shout out to you, Jay. I hope you ain't over there eating beans and toast. I hope you eating oxtail and rice and peas.
yeah,
Wherever you at, don't eat no beans and toast. I love you, girl.
I don't like
Phil,
things like that.
good, good. I like a little bit of beans, but not no toast. Phil, no hard feelings. Water under the bridge. No harm, no foul.
I fuck with you, DJ. My bad. I hope I ain't come at you wrong. You know
No,
what I
I
mean?
ain't even tripping. I don't even be
All
tripping
right,
off that
for
shit. Shout
sure.
out to you. Shout out to Q. I love you, Q. So to the title, why black women hate going 50-50? Because it's never 50-50. It's never 50-50. The answer to that question is because niggas don't know math. Is it 50-50 or is it 85-15? The
It's
real, if it's
oh my bad.
financial, if the lady is putting up financial money, like her actual money that she worked for, and also doing physical labor and emotional labor, she's not getting no 50-50 cut. If we selling dope together and we splitting this shit 50-50, I'm gonna do the exact same amount of labor as you. That's it. I think a lot of time men think 50-50 is I pay half of the bills and then a woman do everything else, and that's 50-50. The math is not mathing. That's why a lot of black women is not going for that shit. Y'all 50-50, y'all math is off. And if we was selling dope, you would get murked with what you thought was 50%. You thought you was bringing me 50% and you really bringing me 15 on a back end, I will kill you. Like, what is you talking about? So that's why a lot of black women don't do 50-50. Like, bitch, if you want to say 100, you pay everything. I'll do everything else. No problem. Smile, laugh, joke, have a good time. But I'm not paying for nothing. No money is coming out of my pocket because I'm doing a lot of work, labor. That's where I think a lot of people get shit fucked up. Your math is off. What you think, what a man think is 50-50 is like out of pocket. So
I don't.
that's your answer to your question.
I think for me, for me, I think it's more emotional. You know, I'd rather go 50-50, 50-50 emotionally than financially because it's for me that's easier because the finances will balance itself out. Like for an example, um, if I'm paying the mortgage and the light bills, if we go circle rate around finances, if I'm covering the mortgage and stuff, and you come to me one day and be like, "Hey, babe, I got the mortgage this month." No, oh, okay. You can almost guarantee that I'm gonna do a very kind romantic gesture for you this month. Like you got a surprise coming your way because you freed that responsibility up off of me. You know, cover your car note, may pay your cell phone bills. You go get your hair and nails done. You go get things, and I ain't saying that these are things I wouldn't normally do, but if I'm covering everything at 100%, the feeling you get behind knowing that these things were taken care of, well, the feeling that I got behind knowing that you had took care of something, now I got to return that emotion back. That's how I look at it. So you're like, oh yeah, don't worry about it. You've been working hard. I got it this month. All right, cool, cool. So now I'm plotting on what I got to do to put a smile on that face. So I'm trying to get some ass in the morning. So what I'm gonna do is we gonna have a real nice evening, maybe every weekend until that next mortgage bill cycle come around, you know. And then you gonna feel like, oh, okay, well, shoot, I took it. Something should click in your mind and say, damn, I paid the mortgage and this nigga spoiled me this month. Like, okay, I might have to catch a bill or two extra here and there from time to time. I don't mind catching the car note. I don't mind catching these things. But if everything is solely on me, you gonna lose a little bit of the romantic side of me. You know, if I'm responsible for that, and then you're gonna lack in other places and vice versa. So that's how I look at 50-50.
Queen, why? Because you make it sound like if you're paying for everything, a woman is not gonna be cooking, cleaning, attending to you. She's not gonna be doing all of these kind gestures to you. So because you're paying for everything, she should miss out in the tender love and care just because you're paying for 100%. And that's why I say 100 and 100. I don't say 100 and 0. 100 and 100. Each party is doing 100 in their category or area. So if the only thing she's asking of you is money, you're saying you're not doing nothing else. And that's why DJ is saying she don't like the 50-50 thing, because men think like that. That's the issue that I have with it too in my head. How is it you're gonna see it in your head Are we business partners? Are we actually in a relationship? Are we roommates? That's how men start to think about it. And that's not how women want to be in a relationship where is tick for tat and or if you paid for this, then I pay for that. Nah. Are we in it fully or we in it halfway? Even halfway emotionally don't even sound right. Because that sound like my foot is in it and out of it. My foot is on one side of the fence and on the other side of the fence at the same time.
Well, no, I get it. I get that completely. What I'm saying is like I have all my own stuff, right? And I can sustain it by myself. The second I bring someone in, things tend to go up. So if someone were to move in with me, my light bill will go up, my water bill will go up, the gas bill will go up. I'm still responsible for all of these things, right?
Oh my
Now,
God.
but no, no, no. I'm not complaining about it. But watch this. What I'm simply saying is that is solely my responsibility. So my resources is now a cover for the family that I am upbuilding, right? How is that reciprocated back? Because I can keep the house clean, I can do laundry, I can cook, I can do a lot of things myself. What is the woman bringing in to where it's like, okay, some of this pressure can be relieved off of me? Because vice versa, if I were to move in with you and you got all of these bills, I'm coming in and I'm catching what I'm gonna relieve a lot of pressure off of you, like a pimple. I'm gonna take all of that away, and you're gonna feel like, okay, this is more relaxed. Even though it's all your responsibility, if I come in there and I don't pick up a bill or two there, I'm leeching at that point. You can't live nowhere for free.
But see how you just did a circle around the conversation? Jay, I don't, Smelly, Kelly, Rajay, Jessica, somebody. I hope y'all listening. This is the whole ideology that is the reason 50-50 don't work. Like, what are you going to do? Why are you in a relationship? You can just be by yourself. If you can cook for yourself, you can clean for yourself, you can do your own laundry, do that. But why in the relationship you feel like all of a sudden I'm a woman in a relationship, I can't pay my bills. I'm a man in a relationship, all of a sudden I can't cook my own food. I can't do my own laundry. Like, do the same shit you was doing. Do the shit
I
that you
agree,
No,
DJ.
I'm almost done. When I get done, I will close my mic. You will know that I'm done. I, I don't understand this concept of I get with somebody now, you have to do these things. And if you don't do them, I'm also not going to do shit for you. Where is the love in that relationship? That's not giving, I love this person. We're together. We're just doing whatever. We're just having fun together. Nobody's clocking tea in a real relationship. Nobody's clocking tea like, oh, you didn't do this laundry. You didn't pay this bill. It's just like, what can I do for you? But every time I hear the 50-50 conversation, all I hear is, bitch, I'm not going to love you. I'm not going to rub your back and be nice to you unless you do something for me. And it's the same with women. I'm not going to love this man. I'm not going to do. So you never loved them in the first place. Let's clock it. You never loved that person in the first place because for a person you love, you going to show up and show out. And they going to do the same for you. Ain't nobody keeping a tab. Ain't nobody keeping a score. Oh, hey, I paid your car note this month. You better do this, that, and the third. Like, the fuck? Is y'all crazy? That's not love. That's transactional. That's pimp. That's whole activity. When you love a person, you don't even think about shit like that. I'm not doing 50-50. If a man say, let's do 50-50, I'm like, who he think I am? Because why is you even clocking my teeth? Just love me and I'm going to love you. I'm going to love the fuck out you. The more you love me, the more I'm going to love you. We ain't even, there's no scoreboard. There is no somebody keeping score of how much I love you and how much you love me. And this is none of that. I just want you to be happy. I want you to be with me. And I'm happy you with me. And I'm happy we having fun together. That's it. 50-50, 100-100, any of them conversations, that's poverty. That's somebody that don't really love you.
For
What's your
real.
take on that?
Yeah, I would have to agree with you. I never said that I'm clocking anybody. I'm saying that when you go into anybody's space, especially when you're living together, right? People lives are set however they live, whether they're in a
Bro, you
room, what.
literally just said if she paid a car note, you would give her some extra attention.
No, I'm
Thank
not.
you.
You
No, I
literally
don't.
just said that
But wait a minute,
you
DJ.
can't
I'm
trick
living.
me. You
Well,
can't trick me, my
I'm not.
boy. You can't trick me. You
DJ,
can't fool me.
DJ. Listen
You
to what I'm
just said
saying.
that shit
I
5 minutes
know, but
ago.
listen. I did say that, but listen to what I'm saying because you're not internalizing it accurately. What I'm saying is, if my life is set up this way, right? I have a mortgage that's over $3,000 a month, and my bills stay within a certain range, and a woman moves in with me. Anything, if I like to take you out on dates, if I like to take you out on lavish events, concerts, buy you flowers, do these romantic gesture things that I want to do for my partner, what ultimately happens is if someone's in the house, the bills and things start to go up because they're there more than me. My bills are low because I'm not at home. I travel for work. So if someone's living in the crib, I'm not expecting my partner to come in and catch that. What I'm simply saying is she then should by default she should realize that, you know what, this man is covering all of this stuff. I got this roof over my head, this, that, and the third. I'm gonna catch this month. You're freeing some finances up on me for me to pour it back into you. That's what I mean. I'm not saying that you got to do that for me to do this, but you're gonna shrink how much I can do for you if everything piles up on me on the back end. That's what I mean by that. That's not me saying that, oh, you got to pay my car note. If I come to your house, DJ, and I say, hey, baby, don't worry about your mortgage, this money, your car insurance, car note, I got it. What does that do for your pockets? So ultimately, at the end of it, you now have an X amount of money you can now play with, spend with that I'm not clocking at all. I just know that that's my way of showing appreciation for you working so hard to have this roof over both of our heads. Now, I'm not saying I expect you to do anything for me, but it'll show me more love. Like you just said, I love the fuck out of you. You love the fuck out of me. If you come back and tell me and say, boy, I'm taking you to State 48 this weekend. What? That's what I mean by 50-50 emotionally, right? Because I didn't do it for you to take me to Stake 48. I did it out of appreciation. You see what I'm saying? So it's not me saying that we gotta split this because it'll never be 50-50.
But you see,
Sometimes I'm gonna be up, sometimes you gonna be down.
you see how that goes
One
into
second, DJ. Make it end the end. Make it do the end, and then we get him. One second. Finish a key.
No, that's it. That's
yeah,
it. I'm
no,
done.
but you see
Go
how that
DJ.
goes into why black women hate going 50-50 because it's like, why? Live your life. We don't have to go 50-50 on nothing. I got my own place. I got my own shit. You got your own shit. Why would we go put our shit together when it's going to be an expectation when it should never be no expectation? Like, just live your life.
How do
When
you
a
build a
relationship,
family
Thank
though?
you.
How do you build a family?
if me and you, Q, let's just say me and Q get together. We've been dating for 1 year. I love you. Now we moving together. And you see that my lifestyle is not the same as you being homeless renting a room. And now you living my lifestyle and you realize you have to contribute more. 50-50 in my life is might be different than 50-50 in your life. Now you can't handle it. Now the relationship is gone. We're not getting married. We're not sharing our life. But I've changed my life to be with you. That's dumb. There is
I
no
agree.
50-50.
I
You
feel like
just do
somebody
your
hurt
own
you.
thing.
Somebody hurt
Just
you,
do your
DJ.
own thing. Do what works for you and find somebody that's doing what works for them and meet halfway in that. But the whole thing, like, "Ooh, let's move in together." I ain't moving in with nobody. Mind you, I have a mortgage. I don't have a rent. Nobody's not moving in with me.
And Queen, another thing. No, not Queen. Sorry, Q. Another thing too. Yeah. Unless you're with someone that is just taking you for opportunities, right? For opportunity, a woman is gonna pour into you. Like you don't have to be doing oh this 50-50 emotional thing. If she's fully into you, she's going to show her appreciation just like how you're showing the appreciation by paying the 100. I'm telling you. A woman is going to do the 47, do the roses on the floor for you, going to do all of these things that you think is out of this world for a woman to do for a man. You don't need to be saying, oh, she needs to have the 50% emotional. She's going to do it, especially if she's a nurturing being and that is natural to her. Like me as a woman, the first day I meet you, because I like you like that, I'm doing it. You don't even have to ask me. I'm doing it to the point that it has put me in positions, yeah, where I feel like I'm giving before I'm even in the position of giving, if that makes sense. Like I'm not even a wife, but I'm doing wife duties. So I feel like I feel like this is another reason why too people come off selfish because they feel like, oh, don't expect that of me. Do you get what I mean? So it's like, I don't know, this is going to buy you in your ass if you're not careful. This narrative of make they be emotional behind it because that's what's going to make you appreciate what it is I'm doing if I'm doing 100% financially. Do you get what I mean? I
You know
don't
what the
know.
problem with that is, Jay. You know what the problem with what you said is, a woman's gonna do this and a woman's gonna do that. You're gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? You can't. When people speak on authority of what everyone else is gonna do, kind of like what DJ, I know she's not here now and it's over, but kind of like what she was doing, where she made assumptions based off the woman I was dating, when that could be a completely different type of woman than you are. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem. You feel me? Like, I would never make an assumption on, like, oh, a man's gonna do this. I don't know what that man does. You feel me? There's men that do things that land them in prison. There's men that do things that land them in, in jammed up situations. So you can't make those assumptions. So where it's like, oh, a woman's gonna treat you this way if you do it 100, a full 100. You feel me? I'm a Caribbean brother too. Yeah, Guyanese and all that. You know what I mean? But you can't make that assumption because you don't know the woman that Q's dealing with. You don't know the woman I'm dealing with. You don't know the woman that Diabolical's dealing with. Just like I don't know
Which
the
is why I
woman
said,
the no, but just like I
hmm
don't know the man that you, Jessica, Kelly, DJ, anybody, any of the ladies is dealing with. You feel me? So it's like
I
you have
agree.
to, when you look at things like that, it's like even with my own situation, right? It was one of those things to where, like, okay, you're dating somebody, we're fully grown adults. What's the next step? You know what I'm saying? It's almost like saying, when she's like, oh, don't move in with somebody. Like, so how do families start? So everybody living together who bought a house together, like, are they just all crazy? That's how most families start. You feel me? Like, you moving together, somebody proposes, da da da, the wedding, da 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 da. You feel me? It just didn't work out. I'm one of millions. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going against the grain or reinventing the wheel. It just didn't work out. You feel me? But I feel like there was something more to her in her personal life to where when it comes to 50-50 and money, because when you talk about two ex-husbands in certain I don't even want to go too deep into it because she's not here and I don't want to talk crazy like that. But the point is, right, it's like this is normal aspects of life. I think a man in his 30s, I think I did a normal thing any man in his 30s would do. Men in their 20s that moved in
Yeah,
with their
don't
girlfriends.
make it attack on you. It's okay. Like, I get why you did it, but it's just a thing of some of the questions you was asking, you were making it seem like it wasn't that. But anyway, what I was trying to say why I said that, Phil, because I do agree with what you are saying, was are you going to change yourself just because everybody else is not like you out there in the world? In the dating world, are you going to change yourself as a man, what your values are, your character, and all of that, just because not everybody else on the opposite side is like you,
No,
or even on your side?
my character has nothing to do. You feel me? My character has nothing to do with the conversation at hand. It had nothing to do with characteristic traits and morality. Am I a good man or bad man? It had to do strictly with why black women hate 50-50. And I gave an example of how I split finances specifically. I didn't even go into like what we do, household chores and all that. You feel me? Because like I cooked 90% of the time. I did a lot. I did a lot more, but I didn't even get to that point. You feel me? But like, you know what I really want to say, and I'm gonna just be quick about it. What I really want to say
Yeah,
though,
go
Jay,
ahead, go ahead.
specifically, what I really want to say is like, you ladies have to, in my opinion, you have to open your minds to, like, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you may not be right. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes that man, you feel me, may want to be with you to be with you. There's no ulterior motive. You feel me? There doesn't have to be that apprehension, that spidey sense. Like, just relax. You know what I'm saying? It's life. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. That's why you take chances. You know what I'm saying? If I ask a woman for a number, I might get rejected. If I move in with my girl, you know what I'm saying, after a year, and I think a year is a reasonable time in your 30s, and she's in her 30s as well, to see like, hey, let's try to build and see, marriage was on the table. We talked about it, of course. We're adults, and it didn't work out. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a plan because the lease was up in 2 months. You know what I'm saying? The lease was in my name at the end of the day. She was on the lease too, obviously, but like the actual portal to pay was through me. So I'd have been a fool to bounce. You know what I'm saying? Because if she could have decided not to pay, it would have fucked me up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's that kind of shit, man. The where it's like, dude, like you gotta have a little more emotional intelligence. Not you particularly, not Kelly, not even DJ. It's just generally when it's this men and women when we have these conversations. You feel me? Like it's too many assumptions. But I'm gonna be quiet. I ain't trying to kill the room or not.
No, no, it's not even I killed the room. You were involved in a conversation. Pretty, you have something to say towards it because I did feel like with the other components of the pew that was in the room before, like we did bring up good points. All of us did. But do you have a point outside or even agreeing to someone that presented their point?
If you're asleep, man, I don't know. Hey Q, what's up,
I'm
man?
not-
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Kelly. Go ahead.
It's okay. No, I'm listening to y'all.
Oh, you just listening?
No, what did you say? Repeat what you said again.
Oh, I was saying, do you have a component point or like something different to what we've all said? Because Queen is gonna probably answer again now.
Yeah, well, like I told y'all before, my take on it, I just think that 50-50 doesn't exist. And like even Phil admitted, is like, that was just a game. You know what? I do got a question though for you, Phil. Being that you could run that game on her, did you like devalue her intelligence that she went for that shit?
Listen, Kelly. Pretty Kelly. You're a pretty woman, right? No disrespect to you or to my lady. You can say that, but the thing about it is, I'm rubbing my head now. Oh God, the ladies. But the thing is, right? There was no game. There was no game that I ran. Honestly, like she's not on Clubhouse. I might have to tell her to get
No,
on
no,
there.
no, no, no. I'm not saying you ran game. Hear me out. I'm not accusing you of running game. What I'm more so saying is like you admitted yourself that you knew that she was paying pretty much the same thing, if not more, right? But being that you didn't call it 50-50, you was able to get away with that. What I'm
But
asking you is, knowing that you was able to do that, did you devalue her intelligence? Because if I was
no,
able to play
no.
that shit on somebody, I would.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What I was gonna say was, I
Oh no,
remember I
say
told you guys initially. I got that logic from my cousin, my female cousin Sherelle. You know what I mean? Even though it's my cousin, I'm not saying that. Obviously it's family, and I'm not saying that because she's a female, it's right. But I mean, realistically, that was the only thing I paid. Like, still being her boyfriend and being her man. Like, when we went out, I paid for dinners and for whatever that's worth. You know what I'm saying? But like,
no, I got you. And let's just take the scenario out of it. And let me just
mm,
ask in general. Okay.
mm.
If you're able to tell somebody that it's raining when you're actually pissing on them, do you devalue their intelligence for them going for it?
Jesus Christ, I don't think I did it like that though.
No,
It
I'm
was
not
like
saying you did. Like I said, remove that situation. If you was pissing on somebody and you told them that it was raining and they was like, "Oh, this rain is so nice," would you devalue their intelligence?
yeah, obviously. You know what I
Okay.
mean? If I'm pissing on you and you got an umbrella out thinking that it's shower, you know what I mean? It's mild showers and some shit. Yeah, obviously you're stupid. But the point is, I didn't do that though. What I'm saying is like because we had a finance conversation. We sat down at our little coffee table. We did that, and I told her I was like, listen, I'm gonna do this, and you do that, and she agreed. And we're adults, and we move forward with it. You feel me? So like I feel like I didn't play, I didn't get by. You know what I'm saying? Like
Phil, my guy, my guy. I have a business in San Francisco. You may not know this,
no,
but
no, I'm not.
I
Fair enough.
I'm
I'm
pretty
not saying you don't.
aware. I'm pretty aware of the cost, the average cost of things, right? And
Right.
all I'm saying is, if you was paying $2,000 a month, your end was 14, her end was 6. Then she paid the other bill, electric, water, let's just say, right? And then
Yeah.
she paid food in San Fran, motherfucker. Sorry, in the Bay Area,
Yeah, we weren't in San
she was
Francisco
paying more
proper.
than you, bruh.
We weren't in San Francisco proper though. I'm gonna
No,
be
but you
like,
you, you was in the Bay Area. That's
yeah,
cool.
that's
She
true.
was paying more than you, bruh. Come on.
No, I was still paying for, you know what I mean. She crashed her car. It's a whole thing to the story. She crashed the car. She used mine. It
I
doesn't matter.
mean
You
the
feel me? Like I said,
foundation of bills. That's why you
we
go into
still talk to this day.
extracurricular shit. Fuck the
Yeah,
extracurricular shit. I mean the base and the foundation. She was paying more than you. Right or wrong?
possibly maybe 100 or
You
two
know
more a
that.
month. Maybe,
So that's
maybe.
what but that's what I'm saying. All I'm saying is you was pissing on her, telling her it was raining. And she was like, it's raining. That's what was
Listen, I
happening.
love that woman at the time. I wasn't pissing on her. Like, I love my lady. Like, come on. You feel me? Like I said, I was telling Jade, man, like, maybe next time it don't gotta be a big thing. Maybe you feel me? Like she don't be on this type. She's in Vegas now. She don't be on this type of shit. But I'd love for her to come and, but she might shit on me too because she is technically an ex. So yeah, fuck it. I fucked up. I'll take accountability. I think I
That's life.
pissed on
You
her and
good.
told
You
her to
good.
spray. I'm a man,
You
I'll
good.
bounce
You
back.
good. My whole point is that's why you don't do 50-50 because somehow, I'm not talking about her when I say this, I swear I'm not. But bitches are stupid. And a lot of bitches cannot do basic motherfucking math. And being that they can't do basic math, they go for a lot of dumb shit. To say, oh, well, I'm paying 100 myself now. I'd rather go 50-50. Yeah. It's like they don't realize that bills go up when there are there are two people. So even if you literally split the bills down the middle, you're still paying more than you would be paying if you were by your motherfucking self. Typically, right? So that's the main problem I have with that. Also, too, I would rather go 100-0 with a nigga. Me go 100, him go 0. If we ever have to sit here and be nitpicky about something as meaningless and worthless as money, fuck you. Like, or I'd rather not be with him because I'm not
We
doing
were
that.
never nitpicky. Like I said, we never.
No,
Like I
I'm not.
said,
I'm not
I did
talking
the direct
about your
deposit out my check.
situation. I promise. And that's
Oh,
why I said, yeah, I'm not talking about your situation. I'm just
I
talking about
apologize. My
me.
bad.
It's okay. Just me. I would rather go 100-0 and have everything on my back than to ever sit there and be no, no, no. First of all, I think people are more valuable than money. So if the money conversation even comes up, I'm already devaluing you in my mind, right? So let's just live. Let's just be. Let's just figure shit out. Let's just work together. Let's just be a team. But if it ever gets to the point where it's like, oh, look at this, who's gonna take care of the half of it? No, you know what? I'm gonna take care of 100% of it. Like, let's just. I don't want to have this conversation. So that's how I look at it.
You know what though? When I hear ladies like you, though, Kelly, and even you, Jay, and even like DJ and them, like and Jessica, whoever the ladies may be, when I'm in rooms like this, like I really do try to listen to where it's like, oh, let me, what I mean, let me hear a female opinion because I don't know y'all, I don't know where y'all at, whatever. So it's like it's just a objective. You feel me? If you're not trolling, point of view. But it's like at the same time, like I don't know, man. Like everybody's different, and that's kind of where it is, because it's like how you think as a woman, Kelly, versus how you think as a woman, Jay, may not be the type of woman that I'm with. You know what I'm saying? I date black women, but you feel me? Like maybe it's the city, the state, the whatever, the environment, how you grew up. So like you know what I mean? It's solid, and I'm taking it. I'm listening to what you're saying. You feel me? But at the same time, it's like you gotta just I don't know. It's one of those things. But what you think, Q? I'm gonna toss it to you, my brother.
I just came back in, man. I missed it. I'm working. That's why I've been in and out. What happened?
Okay, we just been talking about bullies new. What do you think, bully? Why do black women hate going 50-50? Or what's your take on the conversation? Either or.
Oh,
Where's
that's
where's
easy
Bully at?
because
Oh,
it ain't never 50-50. You know, when it's a problem to those who can't comply with it. Like those who, if they feel like they want to do it financially and they can't fulfill their end of the stick, it's not going to be 50-50, which causes another person on the other side to be frustrated, especially if they need the help. I like DJ said, you probably should just stay to yourself. If you need to go 50-50 with somebody and that other person, if you need that 50-50 and they can't financially meet that requirement, you go put both of yourself, you're both each other in hell. It's probably better to not do it. But when you're in a marriage, I think that and y'all have an end goal in life or something y'all want to tackle together in life, that's something a little different. Because there's gonna be times where the man gonna lean on his wife, and there's gonna be times where the wife is gonna lean on her husband. That's what I think.
I think I would be 100% willing to go 50-50 with a roommate. That'd be the only way I'd be willing to split everything down the middle is with a roommate. And I've never, in my 38 years of life, I've never had a roommate. And I don't think I'd ever do that. But 50-50 with the person I'm in love with, never. Absolutely fucking never. No thanks.
Pretty, that's exactly what I was saying to Q, is saying it does give in relationship vibes, and it's like, how do you come out of that bracket or come out of that connotation? Because I feel like it's all good saying 50-50, because obviously it's like, oh, we're both supporting each other, but I don't think it works in a romantic situation, because even in my friendship group we don't even do 50-50. We just spend money. We're not even calculating. And I bet you more time I done is my friend spending more money than me. But when I feel like I think about her and I want to spend money on her, I spend money. But she's not calculating in her head saying, you've only spent £20 and I have spent 2,000. Like, that's not what she's doing. So I don't know. I just feel like it's going to put more stress on the relationship than it is going to be peaceful. Because remember, Q, you was also saying about emotional. That's going to affect the
Let
emotional.
me ask you then, Jay. Let me ask you a
Correct.
question.
Correct.
Hold on, Jay. So what would your ideal relationship be if you say 50-50 could put stress on the female in the relationship? What would your ideal? Would it be 100-0 to 100 on the man, 0 to the woman? I'm just curious. And realistically,
No,
a
I would
realistic
say
scenario.
100. My scenario is 100. I'm not doing a 50 emotional, 50 emotional. No, 100. Whatever
100
it
100
is
is
that,
50-50, mama.
go
100
again?
100 is 50-50, mama.
Yeah, same
It
thing.
is,
Half half, half half,
well,
right?
well, the reason why I say 100 is because if he's doing, let's say he's doing 100 in the finances, right? I'm coming 100 in the other areas. In regards to saying, let's say and he's coming 100 in other areas that I don't do on that day. Let's say he comes and he realizes, oh, the toilet is a bit messy, so he just do it because he sees that he's undone. He may come in and he sees that, oh, the kids need to have a bath. He sees it's undone. That is the 100, where it's like saying, like, it's not a, oh, you're dealing with that category and I'm dealing with this category. It's 100 in the sense of, I'm showing my appreciation in that, what's called, the money that I may could have spent on myself, I'm spending on you to show you my appreciation. It's not because you do 100 and pay the rent. It's just because we're in this together and I'm showing you my appreciation. It's not a calculation of, oh, because you spent 2,000, that's why I'm giving you a gift. Or because it just sense of, because I care, you know? Because there's love, there's appreciation, there is um admiration. I don't know how to pronounce that word. But you know what I mean?
Admiration,
Admiration.
admiration. But
I
here's what
think
I'm.
my words are
Go ahead.
being twisted. I really do think my words are being twisted. I'm not saying that I need to go 50-50 with someone so that I can do something for them. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if I'm dating Kelly, right? And I go into this relationship solely based off of what I can do at this very moment in time. I can take her out on dates. I can send her flowers. I can do whatever it is that she wants to do. I can probably help with a bill or two there, right? But the second Kelly moves into the space, and that's simply because my bills and stuff at the crib is extremely low, right? There's no, everything in that house is on sleep mode. Only thing running is the refrigerator. The second I bring Kelly into the home, and let's say Kelly brings a dog and a kid, right? Okay, now I have a dog in the house, a kid in the house, AC, HVAC is constantly pumping. Now my bills is upticking. That's going to take away from some of the things that I was already doing. That's not me saying I can't afford my lifestyle without Kelly. That's me saying I'm going to have that conversation with, hey, babe, I know you're here. I'm not bitching about it, but I ain't going to be able to give you them flowers every other weekend or take you out to your favorite restaurant or do some of the things I used to do. If she accepts that, we good. But if she like, oh, you don't do what you used to do no more, well, babe, everything on this end kind of went up a little bit when we moved in, vice versa. If I come into her life and I'm in there and bills and things is upticking, I expect her to have that conversation with me. Hey, bro, you and them, you got to take your shower and stuff like that, but let's not do 4 showers a day. Now, I ain't, we not, my water bill's a little higher than normal. I expect her to say that. That's not me, especially if I'm not coming in there to catch it. Now, I'm not saying that we got to go 50-50. What I mean emotionally is if I can come into any woman's life and relieve pressure off of certain things financially and emotionally, then I'm playing my part. There's going to be times where I'm going to need my woman, and there's going to be times when my woman will need me, whether that be emotionally or financially. Am I looking for it off rip? No, but it's going to happen. Nobody stays at 1,000%. Because what it sounds like y'all saying is, oh, well, if you don't want to go 50-50, if a man is covering everything, what happens when he's not? What happens if I lose my job today or tomorrow? You gone? That shows what you were here for in the first place. What
No,
happens if you lose your job today or tomorrow? I'm gone? What
the
does that mean for me?
insurance. That's why we need you to at least have the pocket to do the 100, because Amanda has 100 and he knows that he's doing 100. He's going to put insurance in place that when he's gone, you still can continue doing 100 without him. Because I'm thinking, if I'm joining with you, we're having children. And even if, why would you want to join with me and leave me in a bad position if you leave me? Why would you want to do that to me? That means you didn't truly care.
N-
We're
No,
No,
just
but
I'm
here
not
not
for,
even
saying
that. He's
I'm not
even saying
I'm
if
not
he gets
saying
injured,
that.
or if he gets injured, can't work, gets fired, something of that nature.
mm.
That's what he's
Right,
saying.
right. I'm not I don't know
Yeah,
why this is
yeah,
so hard
you
for
put
her to
insurance
grasp.
on it. You put insurance on it. That's what I'm saying.
I,
I've heard a woman, she said her husband took out trust and all of these things in her name because she's a housewife, in her name, so that if anything was to happen, she can still continue doing what he's been doing when he was
that
healthy.
that's
That
that's
is
that's back end stuff.
thinking
That's
about the wife.
that's marriage stuff though. I'm not putting a I have insurance.
Oh,
I have a whole life insurance. I have plenty of coverage. I'm saying if something were to happen, if I twist my ankle right now or I bust my hip, that insurance policy is not going to kick in for another 30 days minimum after the doctor released that information. If you are incapable of paying the mortgage until next month, and you gonna sit there and tell me, oh, well, you didn't put the insurance in place, or you don't have this, or you don't have, oh, I'm not paying that, then what are you here for? That it goes vice versa. If something were to happen to you right now, and I got to step up at the house, that is what I'm there for. It's not, I'm not there to say, oh shit, well, I can't do that because we that ain't 50-50. You're sick, you're down and out. If you got the flu or COVID or something, you can't come out the bathroom for 6 weeks. What you want me to do? You want me to sit there and ignore the fact that you, man, hell no. I don't know. I don't know if it's because you're from the UK and you're refusing to grasp it. I'm not saying that you're wrong in your what you're saying. It sounds like you want a man to cover everything and you do your part. And if that man ever slack up, you're gone. That's what I'm processing.
oh, hell nah. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying because normally I am coming into a union to get married, have children, the man. I want to know that just like how you want to know if you get sick, I want to know if I get sick because it does come with having children, and it does come with still, even if I'm a housewife, that you can instill yourself, maid, a babysitter, whatever it is, especially if we don't have a village, because most times in the black people them, we don't have village. So that means you need to have the finances to provide your own village. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So that's why I have that mindset, not because I'm gonna leave you just because you're sick. Do you understand? No,
But
because
that's what
the
I
hunter
got you.
mindset
That's
is.
that's what it sounds like for a second. I'd rather
So
not
that
go
means you didn't hear the other
50-50.
part that I said before this conversation, where I said to you, from day one, I am a female that gives, from day one. I give, cooking, doing all these wife duties for a man that is just day one. He's not even shown me yet that he's going to even put ring on my finger. But just because I care about you, I'm gonna try and fit my life in where I see I can. Not because you asked, but just because I that's just who I am. Do you get what I'm saying? So you didn't hear that part. You heard everything else, but not that part.
But let me
Mm.
ask you a question. So as a woman or a female, as you called yourself, holding down your end of the bargain, right? In the event that you break your ankle or slip or get really sick or something like that, do you put things in place to make sure that somebody's still cooking the meals and cleaning the house?
Go again. Sorry.
Do you put things in place to make sure that somebody's still doing the laundry, cooking the meals, cleaning the house? in the event that you break a leg or get sick.
In the
Okay.
well, okay. In the ideal situation, yes. Right now, no. But because I know I am not in the expectation of basics, I don't put myself in a situation to for it to be reflected. You know what I mean? Because
No, you're not wiggling out of this one, sis. If you
no,
expect
no,
the
no, I'm
man,
being honest. No, 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 no. This is my reality right now, right now. I'm abstinent. I'm not in the
no,
dating
no, no, no,
pool
no. This example, we
because
just speaking
I am not
hypothetical.
going
She
to.
running. She running,
Yeah,
Kelly.
we
You
speaking
see what I'm
No, I'm
saying?
not
hypothetical.
running. Oh, okay, okay. You're saying without okay, you're saying without even if I was saying yes or no. No, that's not my standard of life. But if I'm going to add it, because I know the reason why I'm getting into a relationship is to continue that. So just like how Queen was saying, why put two together to add more of a problem? Better you keep it separate. If I'm just now diggly dabbling with you, I don't have those expectations for you. I don't. I'm not gonna expect you to
No, no,
cover
no.
my
I'm
back.
not saying that. What I'm saying
Mm,
is, if you, it's a hypothetical. If you're in
yeah,
a marriage, right, and you are
yeah.
the one that cooks, cleans, does the laundry, do you
Mm.
put something in place to make sure somebody will still cook, clean, and do the laundry in the event you get hurt or sick?
Yeah, I would if because I'm thinking like that, saying I want to ensure because that's one of the things I require. I'm not gonna lie. When I was seeking this to get with somebody, that was one of my things. Can we implement nannies, maid, whatever it is? That was one of my requirements because I do know it's a possibility today or tomorrow I could be sick, my mind could go out, I could be so tired today that, or even there be times when I just want to be a me and my husband thing. Is it on
So
my
you
own dime? Is it
Kelly
on
got
my
you
own dime?
speaking in
Is that what
riddles.
you're asking?
God damn.
Is that what
Yeah,
you're
because
asking? Is
sis,
it on my own dime?
that's
so
not
so
what you said
Jay, so
earlier.
so
Wait
so
one
Jay,
second.
you would pay for it? So if you're my wife and you get sick, you're saying that you
Mm.
go find somebody to come in and cook, clean, and do the things you was doing under you go cover that. Because if I pay for it, that's me covering you again.
But
So you
okay,
see
that
how it's
But
not
but but
and that's
fair?
but
and that's and that's the point. That's the point. That's the point. Saying that was a cool when you're down. Wait, when you're down. One second. When you're down, somebody has to cover it. Nah.
No, so what you're saying is when
Because
he's
remember, I'm a housewife. Wait. Remember, the position that I'm thinking about. I'm a housewife. I'm not thinking that I'm working.
no, no, no,
Unless we're
we're not
doing
talking about
job work,
that.
I'll be working.
Hold on. This is what I'm
Um,
saying. This is the problem, right? Because now it's not fair. What you're saying is when he's down, he needs to
yeah.
make sure that he has things in place to cover shit while he's fucked up. But when you're down, he also
Mhm.
needs to make sure that he puts things in place. So when are you putting things in place and
No,
having
I ain't
insurance?
putting things in place, but financially, I'm not able to cover it because I'm thinking I'm a wife. I'm a housewife. I am putting things in place. That is going to be my everyday duty for the things that is going to be external of him going to work and all of these external things. But the in these things, appointments. Oh, babe, we need to get someone to repair the fence outside because I know you come in at 8 o'clock and that's going to be too late to fix fence. Stuff like that. I'm going to be doing, but I'm saying in regards to saying the financial part that requires these things to be put in place, I wouldn't be seeking it because like I said, when I join up in a relationship, I'm intending to have children. Do you get what I mean? Or it's not
and
called.
that's the problem right there, Kelly. That's all I'm
Okay.
saying. I know you
What's
got
the
it,
problem
Kelly.
right there?
I
Explain that.
get
Explain
it.
that.
So that was just excuses, right? Because at the end of the day, I
Mm.
don't give a fuck what it is. If you're holding shit down in the house, let's say all you are is a housewife and you don't make money, you're still getting money, right? So when you say the fence needs to be repaired, he can't repair it. You got to pay somebody. You find give him an estimate, whatever. You find something cheaper, you stash that money. You see, okay, grocery, how can I save
Oh,
on
that's
groceries?
what you
Okay,
mean.
I'm gonna pay
Yeah.
you. Stash.
My
No,
money.
no, I'm saying there's a million ways to skin a cat. But for you to say that you're looking for somebody that's gonna have your back and have insurance, but when you're down, you also expect him to have your, like,
But that
it's
is his
never
money. The money that
reciprocated.
I'm
That's crazy.
using, Kelly, is his money. That's what I'm saying. It's not my money. I didn't if I'm in a position, unless I was working efficiently before coming into the marriage, then it is maybe his money and my money in my
No, no, no.
account. But
It's not
the
even
money
about
that
that. That just was an example. All I was
yeah,
asking
okay.
is, are you going to do whatever it takes to make sure that you have his back when it comes to your stuff, so it's reciprocated?
Oh,
It's
yes,
not just you
yes,
expecting.
yes,
You know what I'm
yes.
saying?
Because I wasn't understanding it like that. If you're saying it like that, yes. I was just thinking that you're saying, in regards to saying the money wise, are you going to be able to cover his back? But I'm saying no, because it's not my money. But if you're saying in regards to saying, using his money that he has given me for any other reason to ensure that what's it called, on the bad days, I can still catch him, then yes, because that is also my responsibility to catch his lacking. Because remember, I'm saying I'm catching your lacking wherever it is that you, because you're covering that and everything, and I'm showing you appreciation. I'm also going to put in place and having this conversation with um my 100% man, saying what are the things that we're going to do when you have a bad day, because I also feel like that's covering me too. It's covering me too, because I'm going to feel it when my husband is down. I'm going to feel it too. So I do think that is important, to ensure that we have a plan. What we're gonna do when you're down? What we're gonna do when you're tied to work for a year? What are we gonna do if you choose to say, "Babe, my stress level is too high. I can't go to work today"? Because a man can come and say that to me, and I'll be okay with it, saying it's fair. You've been working for 5 years, 10 years, and you haven't taken a break. I've seen it happen, and I'm saying take a break, and he's like, nah, he want to stay busy. You know what I mean? So I'm not that girl to be like saying no. I expect this man to be 100% every single day and never feel like he needs to come down. I'm not, and I'll nurture him when he's down in that basis, and whenever he's ready to go back, if he
It's
chooses.
it sounds like a lot of women want to date millionaires. What I'm hearing
Not
in
me.
my this is just my opinion. No, it's just my opinion, right? It sounds like the average woman, at least from Clubhouse perspective, wants to date a man that makes about 30 to $45,000 a month or more, maybe 30 plus $1,000 every Wednesday. And she wants to be able to secure, because what's going to happen with this wife, this housewife mindset, or the way that she view it to be, when that man say drop them draws, when that man say bend over, when that man say jump, you should be responding with how high. I'm not saying this to be disrespectful. I'm saying that if you're in that house and bills is going up and you expecting this man to be this man, to be a man's man and cover everything at 100%, that your job is to suck, fuck, cook, and clean, right? Well, what happens when that man isn't giving you the things that you want to shop with, or because if you find that in the upper middle class and you don't have shopping money, you don't have money to get your hair done, then you want to bring a baby into the world, and there's another mouth to feed. Okay, well, what you're ultimately saying is if he's not an entrepreneur or if he worked for somebody, then you now go turn yourself into a housewife slave. And mentally, that's how I'm processing it. I'm not saying that's the case, but there's gonna be some days where you just not gonna feel it. Well, you're not gonna have a choice because that's now your job. Because
Hey
he
Jay,
don't
hold
have
on.
What do
he
you
don't
mean?
have an
When I just
opportunity.
said I'll give you a break when it's your job, you won't give me a break because it's
Hey,
my job?
Jay, hold on. Let me say something real quick, just to interject. Remember when DJ was getting on me about my opinion? I'm go. Ooh, I'm
Yeah.
glad that they all you though. Go ahead, Q. Go ahead. You cook it, Q. Go ahead, Q.
No, no, no. It's like people like that, man. And it's no shade to her. I hope she
But you,
finds,
no, no,
you
you,
know,
because you don't know what my level of percentage of what I want my man to be. You have the expectation that I want my man. Sorry, me as a woman, sorry, I want to be having this expensive clothes, expensive car, this expensive hairstyle. That's not me. I just require that. What's it called? If you're gonna be having more than like more kids or whatever, I want there to be extended when it comes to cooking, or even at least a nanny slash maid. That's it. That's
eh,
for me. That's
yeah,
my
no,
basics. So,
no, I
and I
get
feel
it.
like
I
earns maybe 5K, which is 50 or 60K, I feel like he can do it every 3 days, once a week, whatever that is. So I feel like you don't understand what my standards are, and you're
No,
just
I get
hearing this
it.
one. Hey, 1 second, you don't get it because you just said to me you want a millionaire, and
No, no, no,
that is
no, no.
not
No,
true.
no, 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 no. What I'm saying, I use that as a metric. What I'm saying is, you want somebody that's in a position to take all of these things. I'm not one of these dudes that's gonna come on this app and say I got it. And let me be clear right there, because I don't. Right? I got enough just for me. Yeah, there's that. Let me start there. But what I'm simply saying is, the second I bring a child into this world, that's a new mouth for me to feed, and I'm already by default covering mom. If I'm covering everything in the crib, right? I'm responsible for every mouth in here, every bill in here, every maintenance request that come through, the cars, you name it. When I am down, the family is gonna suffer because I'm not there to generate. Now, your response to that was you need to have insurance and things in place. That's if I were to die. But if I catch the flu, I'm not dead. So if something were to happen to where I'm down temporarily and I have to file a doctor have me out of work for whatever, however long, it's gonna take time before those benefits kick into place and some money rolls back in. But to just have somebody here in the house with me to say, oh, well, this is just my job. I'm only here to cook, clean, suck, and fuck. Yeah, I'm good on. I'd rather be by myself. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that what you're requesting for is a lot. I'm saying that with that is a whole nother lifestyle. And for the women that's
Oh,
out there doing it, for the women that's out there doing it, look at the men that they're dating slash married to. Some of them surgeons, some of them doctors, Congress, athletes, comedians, you name it. That's not the average middle class person unless he's an entrepreneur or a serial entrepreneur with multiple businesses. You see what I'm saying? So even
no,
then,
I
it's a
don't see what you're
it's
saying. But you know why? Because when I was younger, I was in that position. My mom, we had a nanny. My dad is not a high earning man. He's not. He had to pay for mortgage every month or whatever, just like the normal being person. Yes, he was maybe one of the more affluent person, but he wasn't wealthy. We had like about 1 or 2 cars in the driveway. He had his business right there. He has a bakery right there. And whenever the nanny come, I go to school, I come back. Simple life. My mom wasn't the most glam person. She was not. If you saw the picture, she wear a long dress all the way down there. But they're just things that was put in place. That's all I'm saying.
that
Just put
that was
things in
simple.
place.
That was simple for you as a child. You don't know what
And I
that struggle
still
was like
think
for you.
if I live that
So
life today, I want that. I want a nanny. That's
yeah,
all I'm asking for. Just a nanny. And we could
yeah,
go on trips every now and then, and we can have dates inside the house. I'm not even asking to go to no 5-star hotel or no 5-star dinner. I'm just asking for just a breather. Whenever I want to have a breather to just go outside all by myself, I want that breather. When I want to go and smash you, I don't have to be closing the door behind me to say, let's have sex now, babe, because the children are outside crying for us. I don't want that ledger. I want the headache to know I can peacefully support you if I need to support you, and peacefully support myself if I need to support myself. And when it's time for the children, I can do that with peace in my mind for everybody in the situation. Everybody has their section, and we also have the peace of mind when we chooses to do it, to do what we want to do. Do you understand? I don't know if that makes sense. Don't you want that luxury
it
if you were to
it
add children to freely still move as if you were single to a certain degree?
it. I'm gonna put it this way, right? All of those things are feasible when you have two incomes, especially here in the United States. In today's market, period. I have a mortgage that's over $3,100 a month. Okay, so that is not, and I can pay that. Any one of y'all on this stage could move in. I still gotta pay that. What I'm not gonna do is allow all the bills in the house to go up because I don't be there. I slept in my bed last year 98 days out of 365 days. My light bill is probably one of the cheapest light bills you've ever seen for to be a homeowner. This is not. This isn't me saying that. Oh, everybody in there, all the Mexicans can move in and I can handle it. I'd be damn. You think I'm that stupid? But if I have somebody, if she ain't gotta make a lot, if I had somebody that came in there that made $30,000 a year, and she say, "Babe, I'm gonna catch the light and internet," cool. That's something I ain't got to worry about, right? I'll catch the electricity bill because now I don't have to worry about that. The money that I would have been worrying about those bills now takes away from her by default. So when you having those days where you want to go get your nails done, I would have had that, but I had a higher light bill this month that was 250. I had a water bill that was a little higher because you've been in the house all day. Now you can live this lifestyle and tell all your friends, I'm a housewife, my husband handles everything. Cool. But what you're not telling them is, yeah, but he don't take me to the movies no more. What you're not telling them is, yeah, we don't really get to go on dates. Because we will be that
I'm
couple
okay
closing the
with
door, sleeping,
that.
and have sex for the
Who
kids.
told you I'm crying about those things? Who told you? Who told you I'm crying about things? I want the ledger to know that I got a nanny. That's what I care about. I can stay at home and rub your back. I can stay at home and we he and ha without feeling like I need to go and pick up the baby because the baby crying. That's all I want. I just want the headache, the separation of adult
But
time and children time or family time. That's all I want. That's all I require. So if
it
that
it
just
it, it
requires an
sounds
extra
like
$500, then okay, maybe I need to get my own little side gig. If that's the case, then because you have the headache for that part, maybe I need to get my own side gig just to pay for the nanny for my own peace of mind, and I can be with a man like you, just
You
for
sound
my
like you
own
getting
peace of mind.
pressure, Jay. You sound
it,
like you
No,
under
no, no, no.
pressure, Jay. Woo.
No, no, I'm not under pressure because that's what is making. Because maybe I need to evaluate that myself, saying that maybe I need to get a side gig for my own self so that I can get the nanny for my own self. Because it looks like it's not for to relieve the pressure of the man; it's to relieve the pressure of me
Sound like you're being
because I'm
held
the one that's taking care of the
accountable as
children.
a as a as a
it,
as,
it,
as a mother and as a woman who's doing everything every other
But but
woman
but
is
but but but,
doing.
but, but, but
Why
the
do you need
husband
it?
but the husband have no responsibility over his family because
But
that's too
why
much
does the
pressure, right?
average woman have a nanny though? Why you need a nanny and the average woman gets it done? Like what makes you different? I'm just curious. Is it
Because you
laziness
guys,
or you have to work
no,
together
no,
and
no,
can't add
because you
time?
guys don't evaluate or consider how mentally that affects a woman being in the house all day.
I
Even
got a
if she
mama
was to
too.
go
Like
outside,
what makes you a different woman? My
and she's
sisters
not
have
telling you
kids.
the truth. She's not telling the truth how it affects her mentally. I'm on the mom's
so
what's the
so
call
why
app.
would women
I'm on
want
the
You
that?
don't
mother's
have
app,
kids,
not
do
you
you?
guys.
Do
You
you
don't
have
have it
kids? Do you
firsthand.
have kids?
So
Yes, I have one child. I have a child. I know I have the
That's
experience
sweet.
of it.
And
So
she's
so
still learning
and I
too,
so you're
guys.
a
So
stay
what
socialize
at
do you
home mama. So you're a stay at home mama now with a
and I
nanny.
socialize. No, no, I'm speaking from a perspective of if I was going to join with another man. I'm talking of the perspective of that this is not me, but I'm saying if I was going to, this is a situation that I would join in. I am not joining into a relationship where you're telling me to go outside and be doing 8 to 12 hours a day work so that we could be doing 50-50 in the house.
No,
When I
nobody's
want, when
saying
I,
that.
I'm going
hold
to
on,
reach,
Q. Hold on, Q. Hold on, Q. Let me ask you a question. So if what if you don't? You said you have a child, right? You have one child right now. You pregnant or you have a child?
I hope she got a nanny.
I
You
have
say you're pregnant.
I have a child.
All right. So
You
let
have
me
a
ask you
nanny?
this question. Hold on, real quick, real quick. I just got a real quick question, bro, and you got it though. You got the floor. My question is, from what you said, is like you don't want to go into a situation where you expect whoop de whoop. My question is, you having a child right now. I'm not sure if you're in a relationship, but if you're single, are you not gonna have to do that anyway? You're making it seem like a man is the come up to bring you out of whatever it is you don't
No,
want
no,
to
no, no,
do.
no, no, no,
To
no.
me, it sounds
I
like
said
late.
to
That's
have
just my
more.
assumption is
You see, you
okay.
guys
Even
don't
if you
listen to
plan to have more,
my answers. I said to have more, multiples, multiples. Even with the one is a struggle. So even with my own life right now, I'm working towards to provide that for myself because it's a
so
struggle
you want more
even with the
kids. You
one.
want more kids. So basically, so no wonder you need a man.
If I
So you
want to
need a
join
no
with a
wonder you need a
man,
man
if I
with
want to
more.
join with a man, I'm going to have more kids. It's not even a question. The men that are attracted to me, they want more kids. They want it. So I'm saying if I'm going to join with a man, even with the position I'm in, knowing that I want it for myself, being a single woman with a child, I want it for myself.
Do you
That's
If I'm
have a
going to
nanny,
okay.
join,
Jay?
You're not thinking about the
huh?
child, or are you thinking about you?
Jay,
Don't
do
you
you
think
have a
when you have a
nanny
baby, you
currently?
should think about the baby over yourself? Or is that so? I'm just trying to be
So, so,
completely
so
honest. I'm
you
not
don't
even
think,
trying
so
to be
you don't
mean.
think, wait, no, 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 that is thinking about the child. That is thinking about the child because as a one person by herself, you cannot fill all boxes. You cannot. If a parent tell they fill every single boxes, they are lying to you. They are lying to you.
So
There is a
so
part of
Jay,
me, there's a part of me that my child do not feel fulfilled in that area. So if I can, tap one hand and say, okay, can you give me a real reliever so I can go take care of myself? Do you see a lot of parents when they become parents, their look and their parents go down, their mental health go down because they don't have that tap. Let me go have a breather. You take care of something while I go do something else or take care of myself. Do you understand? And I feel like a lot of men don't take that in consideration because they're taking care of the money wise. So
J-
I don't get to get human interaction. I don't get to take care of me until you reach home 8 o'clock.
so,
Then that's the
so
time I even get to maybe get a shower, brush my teeth, comb my hair, put on some brand new clothes. Like, do you know what I mean?
so Jay, I got a question for you. Do you have a nanny now?
No, I do not, sir. I do not.
Okay, okay. I was hoping you would have said yes. That's even worse though. So
Why
you
is
don't
that
have a
worse?
nanny now.
Because I know how it
Well,
feels with that one. So why would I make
no,
make more babies
no,
with and have
well,
no nanny?
well, you can't make a baby without the man. But look, listen, watch this.
And that's
So
my
you don't.
point. If I want to join with a man, I need a nanny to make more.
Wait, Jay. Wait a second.
Uh-huh.
I'm
I'm
gonna give
listening.
it
I'm
to you.
listening.
You don't have a nanny now, and you're doing it right, and you're doing it solely yourself.
I'm not doing
Why
it
would a man?
efficiently. I'm not
Well,
doing it efficiently.
well,
I'm not. I'm being honest.
I get that. It could be efficiently. You could be as efficient as a Tesla. Watch this. What I'm simply saying is, if you don't have a nanny now and you're doing it, you're telling me that the next man that you get one, unless you go back to the previous baby daddy, he is supposed to pick up you and your current child, afford a nanny to relieve pressure off of you and cover all aspects and be you got to be crazy than a motherfucker. Gotta
No,
be
I'm
something that
saying if you require, one second, no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying because most time when a man is joining with me, black relationship, when they join together, most time I know when they're trying to do long term thing, they want children. And I'm saying because I've experienced it, I know I'm going to require that relief if I'm going to have multiple. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying to you that what's the call with my one child, I'm going to whatever. No. And also, I don't have a problem if a man don't consider me because I have a child. I'm not one of those girls. And I feel like you're putting me in that category without knowing who I
no. I'm
am.
not putting you in that category. I'm saying that even if you I get that you would need that help because you already have a child, right? But
No,
if you go
even
into
if
any
I had
man's
a
life,
child, let's say I was lacking. If you ask a women,
you but
would it be nice to have some
you
extra
get
help? Yes.
yes, you're gonna need the extra help. I get that, right? What I'm saying is you already have a child, and you're saying that the extra help when you have another child, you're gonna need it. I totally agree with you. But you're saying that you're coming into a situation with a child into a man's life to saying that he needs to pay for everything and he needs to find a way to pay for this nanny to cover you, your current baby, and whatever children y'all make afterwards. What I'm saying is that sounds
And
crazy.
and that's why I said Q, maybe I need to consider that I need to get a side gig. I said that already, saying
Yeah,
maybe that
hell
is
yeah.
something
You can
so
sell
this will work for
mangoes
me.
of fucking African fufu. You could do something. The Mexicans do it. The Mexicans here
Right.
in the
So
United
that's what
States
I'm
stand on the
saying.
corner selling
Maybe I need to
platters.
consider that. Right. So that's what I'm saying, Queen. Maybe I need to consider that maybe as a woman, if she's going to even be a housewife, she still needs to have a little side gig, even if it's a $1,000 or whatever dollar, just so that what's the call? These things that you're saying, if you ever fall, I can still run. I can still run. I can still move because I'm not gonna lie, a lot of women who do just leave it all on the man, they do get in fucked up position when the man is not moving. You see on
R-
TikTok.
Right, because when you see that now, I'm gonna paint a picture for you, right? Well, what you're saying, if that's the life you want to live, cool. But just know that any man that has a mom, that has a sister, that has an aunt, when they see that their sibling or has a dad, that oh, this new girl is in your life, hey, she got a kid, she don't work no well, and you paying the bills, and she wants you to get a nanny, and you got her pregnant, all them other women that's not against what that's totally against what you saying, go drill him Cause if my mom heard you say that, she gonna cuss me out when we get off the phone. She gonna tell me, "Don't you fuck with that girl? You be a damn fool." And my
And I
sister gonna
wouldn't
tell
fuck
me,
with you
my
either. And I wouldn't fuck with you either.
right.
Like this conversation wouldn't happen because if you don't feel like what I said about me getting a side gig is valid enough, then we won't be fucking. Like we won't even get there
I
unless you're
agree.
flipping
That's what.
up.
It's not
Okay?
about the
So
pussy. It's
so
not about fucking. It's about the whole concept behind it, like the thought process
so
that you have behind
wait,
what a
so
future
even
looks
if
like.
I'm contributing, you're saying no, I still can't get that lifestyle, even if I'm contributing.
Jay, you know what?
If you if
What I want to
Go
understand, I
ahead,
just got a
go
quick
ahead,
question
Kelly.
because I'm really, I'm starting to hear this shit and it's like shocking me. But so, what? Fuck, I don't know how to word this. I'm just gonna say this.
Say it straight.
When
Just say
is
it
a
blunt.
woman okay? When is a woman not stressed or not pressured? Because from what I hear, if you're working, you feel stressed and you feel pressured. If you're home with the kids, you need a nanny because you feel stressed and you feel pressured. Like like what? Like when are you not stressed, feeling stressed or pressured? Like you know what I think, and I'm not faulting you for this, but I hear men all the time running game on women, and to me, this is the women running game on men. The whole I can't open a jar of pickles. Oh, I'm so stressed, I can't work. Oh, I'm so stressed, I can't take care of the kids. Ah. I think it's just a bullshit play to get what we want, and I respect it because men do the same thing. But can you admit that, like, bruh? Like, come on.
Yes, it's a play. It's a cop out because you know why? It's a cop out because men, if you don't do that little cop out, they will feel like they can put 5, 10 kids on you, and because you are mother, because you have the womb, because you are woman, they feel like say that you cannot come to them and say I'm tired. You cannot run to them and say, babe, I don't want to cook today. You cannot say, babe, I wasn't able to clean. You cannot run to them and say, babe, I need to take me a 5. You take care of the kids because he was out all day paying for all the bills. Do you understand? So you need to have a place where you are also able to balance yourself. Put that in the agreement, the prenup, where you need that kind of uh uh spine or back, something to rest your back on, knowing that you're gonna be good. Even in what's it called? Was it Jack? What's her name? Jackson, the sister in Jackson. She married a
Janet
millionaire.
Jackson.
She married a millionaire, I believe, and it was if 5 years you stay with me, as long as it's a son, you can get amount of money. She stayed the 5 years and she got her money. She knew that she wanted something to cover her back because before she got with the man, she didn't have no children. She didn't have no children, so that must have been a big ask of him to say, "Make me get you pregnant." For me, it's a big ask for a man to ask me to have multiples because I know how it feels having just one. Do you understand? So that's just me. Everybody's gonna ask for that whatever to somebody else that is gonna be asked. It's gonna look extreme. It's gonna be like, why would you do that when the next person is okay, but you is not? So everybody is for their own. Just like how some man they say don't even take out your card or pay for one bill in this house because you're embarrassing me. I should be able to do all your embarrassing me if you do. I've come across that too. So everybody's for their own. Maybe I will match for that man where he says, no, I don't want you to even pay 1 penny. Don't even get a job. Sit down your ass. If you want me to get the nanny, I'll get the nanny if that means you're going to sit down. Do you get me? So everybody for their own.
Nah, I respect it. I respect it. We all have different perspectives, and yours is interesting. A lot of the men I hear is interesting, so I respect it.
Risque behavior.